Alrighty, what is happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another live hangout vid. So I'll try to make this under an hour the best way I can. So don't want to be wrapped up here too long. But I just wanted to go ahead and address a couple of things before I want to address one thing, which is actually not part of the topic of the hangout, but there's somebody I have to address. Okay. Now I'm not sure if this individual actually addressed this towards me or someone else. I don't care. But I don't mean I don't care, but just curious, but it is what it is. But I just got to say one thing to this individual. Now, I got respect for you. But if you did that last video you made, if you did make that video indirectly towards me, then I'm going to respond to that. This is what I got to say. Now, you made a comment that, well, if you're going to remain neutral, then you got to take a side. Fuck all that. Basically, that's what you're saying, paraphrasing what you said in that video. Let me respond by saying that I don't have to take a side on any fighter. I don't take sides unless I have to take sides for the rightful reasons. All right. At the end of the day, I'm going to stay in the middle. I'm be on the side of boxing. All right. Now, this whole Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder thing has really screwed you up mentally, man. I don't know what's going on in there, in that head of yours. All right. At the end of the day, I know you vouch for Anthony Joshua that much. That's cool. You can vouch for your fighter. But at the end of the day, he doesn't give a fuck about you. I mean, I don't understand. What are you getting out of trying to go out here and defend him as 24/7 as much as as you do? Okay. Yes, I'll defend Wilder on some occasions, but at least I've been remain consistent where I've criticized him where he needed to be criticized. Now I have to repeat myself that if you look at my channel and look at my videos and go through my videos that I yet never archived since 2015, since I've been an uploader on here, I have went at Wilder more so than I've praised him. I have. Okay. Now, this whole thing about Wilder ducking Anthony Joshua, which he did, I'm not going to deny that. He's been doing that. I don't know how many times I got to repeat that to everybody who don't have fucking ears or they got wax in it. It's like I got to repeat myself hundreds and hundreds of times. Yes, he did. He did duck the fight. But it doesn't dismiss the fact that Anthony Joshua himself admitted that he avoided the fight. And he admitted that, you know what? I could have done more to make that fight happen when it should have happened. Me and Wilder are both to blame for why that fight didn't happen. Okay, there. But people want to neglect that, but want to hold Deontay Wilder fully responsible for why the fight's not happening. Fair enough. If you want to feel, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But my point is, as B, I'm going to give a shout out to B, by the way. He actually has the same stance as I do, even though he's a Wilder fan. But we have come to conclude that both Wilder and Joshua's teams are pretty much stringing us along as fans, so that way we can continue to argue about this and have a debate about this as long as they can, so they can milk the fucking situation. Plain and simple. Yes, us fans lose out on it, but it is what it is. Okay. Now I'm going to remain neutral, and yes, excuse me, all that. And yes, neutrality and objectivity is the same thing. If you look up the word of the synonym, it's the same thing. Synonym. All right. So to you, man, I'm not taking the sides on anybody. If Wilder's wrong about a situation, I'm going to call him out on it, as I've always done. If AJ's wrong about a situation, I'm going to call him out on it, as I've always done. Now, it's funny that you didn't have the same type of energy when Floyd Mayweather was fucking prolonging the fight with Manny Pacquiao for many years. And you were adamantly defending him in that situation. So you can't have it both ways. All right? So if you're going to accuse Wilder of prolonging the AJ fight, which you rightfully should do, then you should not give Floyd Mayweather the benefit of the doubt in that situation. So that's all I got to say about that, bro. If you don't like my stance of neutrality, then don't watch my videos. Plain and simple. Don't watch it. Okay? That's all I got to say about that. Hey, what's up, Amir? Yeah, it's been a minute, man. I've been on the other hangouts, so just started to start my own and get some guys on here just to chop up a little bit. But let me go through a couple of things before I get to the Wilder Ortiz rematch, which has been the topic of the matter for the last 24 hours, which has really divided a lot of people here. Now, let me say this. I want to give a shout out to a message or a shout out to Lloyd Marshall's granddaughter. I got your name here. I hear it. Yeah, C. Marsh. So my message to you, ma'am, is that is grateful that you commented on my page, because I did a video on him last year, and it was regarding a debate between Gennady Golovkin and Lloyd Marshall. Nobody didn't want to take up on that debate offer, but all I know is that Lloyd Marshall is one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Of course, he was infamously on the Black Murderers Row, but I could say is that your grandfather was a very fantastic fighter of his time. He undoubtedly one of the greatest middleweights of all time, although he never held a world title. Okay. He always would get my respect for what he's done in his career. And of course, he's been held out with major, in mostly, he's been blackballed from on world title fights, which is evident. But the fact is that he was able to manage to muster so Hall of Fame wins against those world champions like the Jake LaMotta's and the Gus Lanovich's and so forth, and so forth, I should say. So he definitely get my respect. And Freddie Mills, I forgot to mention, who by the way should be in the boxing Hall of Fame, which is a disgrace why he hasn't been elected to it yet. But anyhow, I just wanted to go ahead and give you a message. I even sent you a, I replied to the comment you sent to me on my video that I did a year ago about Lloyd Marshall, your grandfather. I welcome you to come on to my podcast, my hangout. We can have we can have an interview. We can discuss his life. We can discuss his legacy and, all the ins and outs about your grandfather. Some of the things that people don't know about him that, that may not be privy to. So I just wanted to give you a message / shout out and say, hey, it was great for you to come onto my page and give me, say that it was, you were very, very honored to see that he's getting respect that he should that he deserves in a way, because it's sad to see, people so fixated on modern day boxing that people don't know who he was and what he was able to do as a great middleweight. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you a little message / shout out to C. Marsh, who's Lloyd Marshall's granddaughter, who actually came onto my page and was very delighted to see that I've made a video about him. So just want to say that. Yeah, 12 round. I'll get to Wilder and Ortiz in a second. So yeah, just hold on for a second, all right? Because I'm talking about boxing history, which some of you guys don't even know about. All right. So moving on to this Robert Mueller and the Donald Trump situation. I know this is political stuff, but I need to get on this one because this is very, very interesting stuff. As you guys may have not known, Robert Mueller had put up he actually held a press conference at the DOJ, which is the Department of Justice. And he's tendered his letter of resignation as a special counsel, which I thought he did a while ago, but it is what it is. Now, in that speech that he gave, it was a very, very, very damaging speech. Now, people are still kind of confused on why he wasn't able to indict Trump on corruption or obstruction of justice charges, whatnot, or collusion with the foreign adversary to influence a presidential election. Now, the reason being is because there is a policy that's put in place in the Department of Justice that is currently set right now, which is to me is beyond me, is that even if the president of the United States is found to have committed a crime, he cannot, or he or she, because I have to admit the word she, because soon, at some point, sometime we may get a female United States president. The president of the United States cannot be indicted while in office. That is the Justice Department policy. He or she cannot be indicted while they're sitting in office. Now, the only way they can be indicted is that the United States Congress have the power to impeach, which goes to the House of Representatives. You need a majority vote. And then there's a trial that be held in the United States Senate. And the Senate will have to hold the trial, and they will have to convict him by a majority vote as well. So given what's going on right now, the Democrats definitely got enough votes to impeach him. But their biggest worry, and I can see this, I've studied politics for many years. Nancy Pelosi and Jared Nadler, who's actually the chairman of the Judiciary Committee held by the Democrats in the House, they believe that if they go down this impeachment route, it's more likely to cost them the presidential election, because there are some small, even though there's a little fraction of people who do support Trump, but there's still probably significant number of people who still support him, regardless of all the obstruction, all the corruption that he's committing while he's sitting in office. All right. So they don't want to go back and risk exactly what the Republicans did back in '98 when they impeached Bill Clinton in the House of Representatives, and it cost them the House. And obviously the Bill Clinton situation was a little bit bizarre. Now, it was all because he had an affair with the White House staffer or intern, Monica Lewinsky, which we all know who that is. And the president lied about the affair. He instructed justice, and he had told key witnesses to lie under oath to the special counsel, you name it. So in that situation, as Americans did, yeah, exactly, Tony. Newt Gingrich and the GOP, they lost the House because of the impeachment. Yeah, but I think because at the time too is that President Bill Clinton was very popular. He was a very popular president at that time, and the economy was going great. And a lot of people were so like disgusted by the fact that why would the Republican Party at the time publicize a man having an affair while he's in office? Why would you federally indict him on that situation? Because some people will say, and I don't condone this, is that why in the world there's nothing in the law that's written in the law that you cannot have an affair on your spouse. And I don't condone it. I'm just saying that's the hard truth. There's no law that says you cannot do that. So that's why Americans were a little like bizarre and disgusted by why the GOP pursued that impeachment over that situation. If it was something that was far worse, like what Donald Trump was doing, I could understand why. If he was a Democratic president at the time, then yeah, I could understand their reasoning of going through the process of impeachment. But this whole thing about the affair was just totally disgusting. I remember at that time too, when I was going, graduating from high school, it was just fucking madness what the Republicans were doing at the time, and they deserved to lose the House over that. So Pelosi and the Democrats are very concerned about that because they don't want to repeat history and see what the Republicans went through during the Clinton impeachment process. But anyhow, Robert Mueller has pretty much laid out the foundations, and this is what he said, quote, he said, if we had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, if we had confidence that the president of the United States did not commit a crime, we should have said that. This is what he said. Now, a president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he's in office. That's unconstitutional. Charging the president with the crime was therefore not an option we can consider. All right. Now, he went on to further say that guided by my principle of fairness, and that is, it would be unfair to potentially accuse someone of a crime when there could be no court resolution of an actual charge. Now, that is very, 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 very strong words there by Robert Mueller. Now, what he's saying is that I do have the evidence, but I have no way I can charge him based off this policy, as I have to repeat, which to me, I think it needs to be revisited, to be honest with you. So basically, what they're saying is what the Justice Department policy says that if the president commits murder while he's in office, he cannot impeach for the murder. Now, it can't be impeached. He cannot be indicted for the murder unless he's removed from office. So that's how it is, man. That's like the fucked up policy, in my opinion. And again, it needs to be reviewed, in my view. It probably needs to be rescinded, to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion. But enough. I just want to give him my 2 cents on that. Now back to boxing. Now let's talk about the Wilder and Ortiz rematch. What's up, Ambitious D? 12-rounder says that Tony Yayu says that Trump went on Twitter with the insufficient evidence defense. Well, Donald Trump knows, and he may not be very articulate in many ways, but he is smart enough to know that he does have a idiotic following that knows that they will believe anything he says. This is kind of like the Fox News type of code of audience, right? Anything they put out, even though it's a lie, the more you put out that lie, the more people are going to believe it. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing, just like how Fox News do to their how they appeal to their audience and so forth. So, yeah, we all know he's lying when he says that. If you have a brain, we all know he's lying about there was insufficient evidence to accuse me of a crime. No. There's enough evidence that that does point all the evidence that you committed a crime. The only problem is Robert Mueller says is that there was no way I can bring charges against you because you sit in office and there's a policy in the Department of Justice that I cannot indict you because you're a sitting president. I can't do it. Now, what Robert Mueller is saying is that now Congress, it's your job now to carry out the order. You have the power to remove the president of the United States for these crimes. I presented the evidence. Now it's your charge to go ahead and convict him. To prosecute and convict. So that's what Robert Mueller is saying. And now the Democrats are coming out saying that, well, we may consider bringing him in, Robert Mueller in to testify. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why are you bringing him in to testify under the committee for? What's the point? He's already said what he needs to do. He's already explained why he could not even prosecute. So he's laid out the foundation on you, Congress, to take up the charges that he's presented. It's your job to go ahead and bring it forward, and you go ahead and impeach and then prosecute in the Senate. Impeach in the House and then prosecute in the Senate. That's your job. But again, the Democrats are afraid to touch it because we're in the middle of an election year, and any talk of impeachment could derail their chances of getting the Senate. Let's be real. Is any chance of them? And it's funny though, because I'm hearing talks on the news on CNN or MSNBC that the Trump administration actually welcomes the idea of trying to bring the impeachment argument into this into the fray, because they want to use that argument and and bring it to the audience, and bring it not to the audience, and bring it to the electorate and say, you know what, you see, there's a conspiracy against the president of the United States. We don't need to go through this. We need to focus on the core issues. Let's focus on infrastructure. Let's focus on not just infrastructure, but jobs. If the jobs, jobs, infrastructure, you name it. All the infrastructure you could think of. You could talk about jobs, roads, bridges. What's up, Rock 89? What's up, Red Glove? Bias. He says all politicians work together. Yes and no. But, I know a lot of people talk about the whole society groups like the Bohemian Grove and the Skulls and Bones that comes out of those Ivy League schools like Princeton and whatnot. So, but the fact is that, look, and I'm getting off the rail here. My bad. There we go. I think you guys can hear me now. Yeah. No, I'm getting off the rail a little bit, but all I can say is that, Congress need to do something about this. I know they're afraid because they're in the middle of election year, but I think it's worth. I don't know, man, because you even got a Republican congressman by the name of Justin Amash, who's from Michigan. He's a Republican, and he's even calling for the impeachment of the president of the United States. So, what does that tell you? You know what I mean? Maybe he's doing it because he knows he's in a political fight of his life, because he's representing a district which is a swing district. All right. So it could possibly go Democratic. So that's why he's calling for impeachment. So that way he can get the votes to be reelected. So I don't know. He's probably being calculated. He's being very strategic, just like any other politician, like Lindsey Graham's dumbass out of South Carolina. Lindsey Graham is going out there talking about that the president and his son can ignore congressional subpoenas. And yeah, here his ass when he was in the House of Representatives leading the committee to impeach Bill Clinton, saying that you cannot ignore a congressional subpoena. That's a federal crime if you do that. But yeah, here he is saying that the president and his son, Donald Trump Jr., can ignore the subpoenas. I wonder why Lindsey Graham is saying that now. You know why he's saying that? Because he's in an election fighting of his own too, and he's trying to get reelected because he knows he represents a state that's still where Donald Trump is very popular, and that's South Carolina. All right. So Lindsey Graham is no dummy, but at the same time, it's very hard. It's very difficult for him to defend his position on why are you switching position where one president of the United States had tried to his staffers ignore congressional subpoenas, and you said that that's a federal crime. They shouldn't do that. But yet here you are telling the president of the United States and his son, Donald Trump Jr., to ignore congressional subpoenas. And Lindsey Graham's argument is so fucking stupid. I just sit there and laugh. It's like, dude, he's trying so hard to get out of it, but he can't. But it is what it is. Hey, Unbiased, thanks for the shout out, man. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Finks says that Finks a boxer. He said, welcome back, Dan. It's been a little political chat to break the ice. Yeah, man, we do need it sometimes, bro. We definitely need it. Hey, Dan, I don't always agree with you, but I've seen some comment. I see that some of the comments people drop on your channel. This Joshua Wilder situation are driving people crazy. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing, man. That's why I'm fed up now, dude. That's why I'm pissed off now. It's like people come after me when I attack Wilder. People come after me when I attack Joshua. So it's like I can't be balanced in the situation. And I got somebody. I'm not gonna name drop the dude, but I think he made the video response towards me saying that I gotta pick a fucking side, fuck neutrality, all that shit. I'm like, no, fuck all that. I'm not picking a side. I'm on the side of boxing, okay? You can have a favorite fighter, but you got to call them out when they're doing in the wrong. All right? And I've always said this, and I'll say it again. Just because you have a favorite fighter does not mean they can walk above water. That you have to call them out, and you got to hold them to the same standards against fighters that you don't like. Plain and simple. All right? If people get upset at me when I say these things, you know? So I'm going to be who I am. I'm not trying to impress nobody. That's just me. All right. It's just like people have just gone like bizarre over this shit. It's like Wilder fans are going crazy over things that you criticize Deontay Wilder for. You got Joshua fans who get crazy. If you even give one constructive criticism of Anthony Joshua, they just go off the rails. One. It's crazy, man. And what's up, Red Glove, man? Yeah. Your boy, what's happening, man? It's been a long time, dog. Long time, man. Hey, you heard about Mike Tyson knocking out WAC 100? You heard about that, bro? But yeah, let me get back to the point here. But the Wilder Ortiz rematch, I gotta say one thing. I'm not happy with it. And I know I was on Bias channel the other day. Shout out to Bias. Some of the guys didn't like the fact that I had some diplomatic responses, but that's just me, man. That's just who I am. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't like the rematch. I'm not gonna be boisterous over it, but I'm very upset about it. Okay. But we all knew this was coming as it is. So I don't know why people are surprised about it. But the only thing I'm surprised about is that it's happening before the Kornacki fight. Now, yes, I would love to get the Joshua fight before anything else. I would love to get it done. But the problem is that we all know it's not going to happen. And Wilder himself, and I'm looking at his damn Instagram page or Twitter, he's saying to everybody that that fight is going to happen. It's going to happen. Trust me. He's telling people it's done. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen. So if Wilder's repeating that, then there's maybe some truth to that. Again, it goes back to my point that me and B agree on, is that they already have this fight done. They just wait for the right time to announce it. But the only thing that people are upset about is that how long do we have to wait? Because either one of these guys can lose before they actually fight. Wilder can lose before he fights Joshua. Joshua can lose before he fights him. Now, even if they don't lose, what if one of these guys decline? Now, Wilder is definitely going to get older a little bit, but we all know when he gets, when he gets a little older, he's not going to have the same reflexes. He may not have the same athleticism, even though he's not taking much damage. So the fact is that despite not taking damage, your reflexes slow down and your athleticism slow down. So I prefer these guys get it on their prime, but I just think they both stringing us all along just to get an air in action. Why? Because the longer we give these guys attention, the more the fight builds more interest and more revenue for these guys to max out on. Let's be real. Let's be real. So let's see here. Tony A said, "Who the hell is Whack 100?" Oh man. Now Whack 100, yeah, boy is correct. He's the Game and the Blueface's manager. Now, if you guys don't know, Whack actually went at Tupac one time, right? He went at him. Pretty much, he was very, very critical of him. This was like a couple years ago. And then a lot of guys were pissed off about that because, if you go after Tupac Shakur, especially when he's dead and he's resting right now, he's been dead for over 23 years. That is sacred, man. You don't go after Tupac like fucking Funk Master Flex did back in 2010 when that motherfucker put out he was in a club and he was yelling, "Fuck Tupac. Hey, fuck anybody that fuck with Tupac, man. Fuck y'all." And then I saw that video. I was like, what the fuck, nigga? You gonna wait 14 years after that man's dead and you gonna talk shit about him? And then when Funk Master Flex got called out on it, that dude came on his radio show the next day. He was like, "Okay, guys, let me address what I got to say here." Now that motherfucker was trying to be diplomatic because he got scared because he got no support over that when he went at Tupac the way he did. All right. Even Biggie fans were pissed off at him for doing that. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing, man? Are you trying to start another East Coast, West Coast rivalry?" And a lot of those dudes, even though, that rivalry between Pac and Biggie was very, very fierce back then, but a lot of those Biggie fans still have respect for Pac. They do. And this fool Flex went on there talking about, well, Pac disrespected my family. He disrespected Faith and all of us, man. I had no love for him. I had no love for him. Yeah, you don't have to have no love for him. That's cool. But what makes you think you're going to go up into a fucking live audience at a club, say fuck Tupac, and all those dudes is up there? You didn't think you would get taped, man? I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking, man? I mean, seriously. But anyway, Whack 100 didn't do that to that degree. I'll give him some credit there. But he did it to the degree where some people felt that was disrespectful, right? You're going to talk about a man when he can't defend himself, especially he's been dead for 20 plus years. Then Tretch from Naughty by Nature, who, by the way, is close to Tupac, Tretch chimed in. It's like, fuck Whack 100. And Whack was pissed. He was calling him out. And Whack was like, nah, nigga, you going to call me out and let's meet up and fight. And Whack 100, Whack got a lot of connections, man. He got serious connections. All right, so that's what makes him dangerous. But when Mike Tyson rolled up on him for disrespecting Tupac, oh man. Yeah, you see, Mike Tyson, that's why I gotta thank Mike Tyson, because he walked up to Whack 100 before I heard, and he didn't give a fuck about his reputation. He's like, fuck Whack, first of all, I don't give a fuck about your reputation. Do you know who the fuck I am? I'm Mike Tyson, and I respect Pac. Pac and I were like brothers, man. Don't disrespect him like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I heard, but it is what it is. Yeah, Mike can still punch, man. He still got them damn fast hands, even at fucking 50 plus years old, man. Even though he's not, even though he can't bite the way he used to, but he still got fast enough hands for his age, man. Mike's still trained, believe it or not. He still trains to some degree. Yeah, Rock says that, or before I get into that, Tony Yayo says they won't lose, but Wilder will more likely decline. Yeah, probably because of his age. Your boy says neither one getting any of you, so let's get it. All right. Let me see. Fake says that do we think that Fury versus White will happen for the WBC Diamond Belt? You know what, Fakes? From what I've read, the fight is confirmed. They've agreed to terms. But I think we won't get further details on the situation on that fight until after they get past their interim fights that's going on right now. For example, Fury's got Tom Schwartz coming up. If White's got Oscar Rivas coming up, so we have to wait to see after they get past those guys, and then we'll learn further details. Very similar to Wilder Fury, we already knew that they were going to fight. They have agreed to terms, but of course Fury had to get past his interim fight with Pianetta, which was a lackluster performance in some degree, but it is what it is, So yeah, so that's my spiel on that. Rock says that they make it seem like that Whack is untouchable. No, he's not untouchable. I mean, he's untouchable because he's got a lot of connects. He's got a lot of dudes that back him. All right, he's kind of like the Suge Knight, if you think about it. He's got a lot of power and influence, and he's protected. But when Mike Tyson rolled up on it, he's like, "No, fuck your protection, man. You talk, this is me. I'm Mike Tyson. I don't need no protection, man. So be a man and fight me face to face." And your boy says, knowing damn well if Pac was alive, or Flex wouldn't say that. Yeah, exactly. Flex wouldn't say shit. Let's be real. When Pac was dissing that dude all like was no tomorrow back in the 90s, Flex didn't say a goddamn thing about it. He didn't say nothing about it. But yet when Pac dies, 14 years later, he got something to say. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Seriously? Seriously? Oh man, let me see. Your boy says I heard that the first punch at I heard Whack through the first punch at Tyson and that he got flatlined. Yeah, that's the rumor I heard. He got knocked out. Yeah, he better hope he don't end up like Suge Knight, get knocked out and stuff. I mean, look, Whack got to be careful, man, because when a guy gets knocked out, and remember, Suge Knight used to be very feared. But when people were learning that he was getting knocked out by people all over the place, he was no longer feared by people. You know what I mean? That's when Suge Knight lost all his power and influence at that time. So, yeah, Whack got to definitely be careful now what he says and what the people that he come across. So it is what it is. What else we got here? Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the Ortiz Wilder Ortiz rematch. I don't like it happening right now, as I'm gonna keep my stance on it. It should happen later, at least until Ortiz gets regain his form, because in his last two fights he hasn't looked that good, especially in the Christian Hammer fight. He looked like he really declined. So, I don't. Yeah, it's just the timing of it is wrong. You know what I mean? I just don't think it should happen. And we should be talking about the Joshua Ruiz fight. The one thing I think Deontay Wilder knew when he put this announcement out is that he knew by putting it out is going to take away attention for the Ruiz and Joshua fight. Which, by the way, I heard they actually dropped the ticket prices for that so they could try to sell out the last round of tickets. Which that's what you got to do to get the last round of tickets out. I remember when people criticized Wilder and Fury when the ticket prices dropped for that fight a little bit. People were all going after Wilder for that. I'm like, well, hey. Should you guys go after Joshua for the same thing, Ruiz? Because they just dropped the ticket prices right now. So, hey, they got to do what they got to do to get the last round tickets out to make it close to a sellout as possible, right? So, what else we got here? Let me bring some guys on. We'll chop it up real quick before I go. Hearn on Ortiz and Wilder. He says that why not fight Joshua? Well, Eddie, we all know that fight's been stringed along by your side and the Wilder side. We all know that fight's not happening right now. Come on, dude. Come on. Anyhow, speaking of Eddie Hearn, shout out to Beeb. Beeb actually caught Eddie Hearn on the line. We gotta talk about this, man. Eddie Hearn had recently stated that there was 6,000 or 7,000 tickets that were comped for the Wilder Brazil fight. Now, I wish people would have challenged Hearn on this. Like, wait a minute, how were you privy to that information if you weren't involved in that fight as far as promotion is concerned? Right? Of course, Hearn says, I heard from the grapevine, this, that, and the third. So what Beeb did is that he called the New York State Athletic Commission's office, I believe. Or actually, no, he called the I think Madison Square Garden or the the Barclays ticket admissions office. He called them and called their ticket manager, and the ticket manager told him that, well, we cannot release that information. Number one, number two, you'll have to talk to the New York State Athletic Commission's taxing department because they have information about the comps, and even if they do have that information, they will more likely will not be able to release it to you. So, so the question is that how the hell Eddie Hearn got access to that information that he wasn't involved in that promotion of the fight, unless he was making it up. I have every reason to believe that he made that up just so he could devalue Wilder even further, which is the wrong thing to do. So how can you, here's the thing I don't understand. How can you ask for a man for a fight and yet you continue to devalue him? That I don't get. I really don't get it. I really don't get it at all. Ah, man, Eddie. Like I said, man, I know he says he's pressuring, trying to get pressure Wilder to fight Joshua, but yeah, he's sitting there trying to devalue him even further. Now, I'm not making excuses, but it is what it is. That's what I'm seeing. That's what's going on, man. But yeah, he needs to. He needs to back off the Wilder disrespect, man. I know. Yeah, I can understand. Criticizing him for not taking the AJ fight is one thing, but god damn. He's sitting there lying about the fact that there was 6,000-7,000 comps for his fight at 13,000 tickets that were sold. That's bullshit. That's a goddamn lie. Now, I'm not saying there were no comps, but you can't tell me there were that many comps. That's fucking crazy. Ain't no goddamn way in the world that a promoter who's promoting that fight will give out that many comps just to get people to come out and watch a fight. That's fucking stupid. No fucking way. All right. So, hey, what's up, Joe host? Hey, what's up, Kiwi? Kiwi says that ticket sales again. Who cares? The price is 50-50, so argue about market value. It simply don't matter. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just that some people are fixated on money. Just the reason why they're doing it because they want to devalue Deontay Wilder. That's what they're doing, and that's exactly what Eddie Hearn is doing. So my thing is that my advice to them is that if you're pressing on trying to make the fight, then why are you continuing to value him? That makes no fucking sense at all. Why? But anyways, Tony Ayo says that recently I saw a cringeworthy Hearn video circulating on Twitter where the dude is attempting to speak black slang in regards to Wilder. Well, that's not the first time he did that shit. And the first time he did it, it seemed pretty funny, but it was awkward. It was stupid. Like he tried to pronounce Chi-Town, Chicago. In the city of Chicago, you call it the shot it's for short, for short. And then he pronounced it she. And I was like, nah, it's not pronounced she, it's shy. And I think some reporter actually called him out on it. He said, no, it's pronounced shy. He said, no, it's she. I said, no, it's shy. It's not pronounced she, it's shy. And Hearn kind of took that a little personal there. I don't know why he got a little offended by that, but it's pronounced shy. It's not pronounced she. But anyways, Joho says, look, Dan, I don't want to say it, but I have a feeling that both Wilder and Joshua are building this fight behind the scenes to milk as much profit from it as possible. Yeah, that's exactly what I believe in. Some people don't like when I'm saying that. Me and Beeb even say this is what's happening. So this is what this is why I think they're both milking the situation. Let me explain why. When Wilder was calling out Joshua like the yin yang, yes, Joshua ducked the fight initially, as she admitted. But when Barry Hearn came out with that interview, that was an infamous interview, by the way, he said himself, like, look, me and Shelly's been talking back and forth for a while now about this fight. We both agreed. We both said that, look, let's build a fight. Let it marinate just like Pacquiao and Mayweather. And when he said that, and Wilder's recent actions and what's going on, and Wilder's coming out and saying, look, that fight's going to happen. You guys are going to have to wait. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He keeps saying it. I have reason to believe that they're all both in on it. They're stringing us along to get us to continue this debate so that way it makes more money down as much as possible at the end. That's exactly what's going on. So let's see here. Big Boy says that y'all think the Ortiz rematch is better or worse than Joshua versus Ruiz? That's a tough question here. Let's just say this. Joshua Ruiz is it's a fresh blood fight. What I mean by that is that you know, Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua never fought before. This is their first time fighting. So something new. It's something, you know, that we can give. And plus, Andy Ruiz has been in much better form than Luis Ortiz. So to answer your question, Kiwi, I would say the Joshua Ruiz fight is a little bit more intriguing right now than the Wilder and Ortiz rematch. That's on paper. But that's on paper. But then again, Joshua Ruiz could turn out to be a bad fight. Now, if Ortiz and Wilder turns out to be a good fight, then yeah, I could I could see that where the argument could shift a little bit. As of right now, on paper, Joshua versus Ruiz is more intriguing than Wilder versus Ortiz rematch. Mr. Boxing today, what's happening, brother? What's happening? What's happening, man? Unbiased says Wilder doesn't deserve 50-50. That's the issue with the whole situation. Well, Unbiased, well, that's your take on it. But the fact is that if the fight does gets announced and it's announced that Wilder got 50%, would you be upset about that, or you be more happy that the fight got made? So I'll repeat my question. Yeah, you may believe that Wilder doesn't deserve 50-50, but once the fight's announced, then if we discovered that Wilder got 50% as he wanted, as he's asked for a while now, would you be upset about that, or will you be happy that the fight's been made? He says, "Oh, I'd be happy about it, not my money." Okay, then why are we fixated on the money then? We don't need to be fixated on money, and that's what's driving us apart because we keep talking about money. And this is what Hearn is doing just to devalue the guy, and that's how I don't like that shit. It is what it is. Man says, Mr. Boxing today. Mr. Boxing today says that he said, Mr. Boxing today, do you really score Parker Joshua draw? I don't know. I let Mr. Boxing today respond to that one because I scored that fight for Joshua 8 rounds to 4. But let me see. Big Boys to Joe says that, look, I don't see it that way. Can you explain your reason why it's way worse? Okay, talk about the Ortiz and Joshua fight. I mean, Ruiz and Joshua fight, my bad. Both camps insulting each other, calling AJ a coward, etc. Hearn calling Shelly fatal names. Yeah, they're both disrespecting each other, and they're both stringing us along. They're both doing it. They are. And people get mad at me when I'm saying that shit. And I'm telling you, that's what's fucking going on. It's so fucking obvious what's going on. Bias says Ortiz looked like garbage in his last fight. Yeah, he certainly looked like he was on the decline. I mean, he did beat up Christian Hammer, but Christian Hammer did land some good shots on him. Some very, very powerful shots. He busted up his nose, and that's like the first time we've ever seen Ortiz get busted, get his nose busted, but it is what it is. He said it seems like the 50-50 was the holdup. Well, that's what, you know, that's what is by perception, that's what it is, but from behind the scenes, nah, that fight's already done. Again, they're marinating the process, as you want to quote unquote, let it marinate, let it funnel through as long as they can until they can maximize a potential profit potential for it. That's exactly what they're doing. Real talk. Obviously, Abai says has a point though, but the major stumbling block for the record, I don't care how much Wilder gets, but he's asking for too much. He's pricing himself out. Well, let me ask you on Bias's question, Hamed. When Anthony Joshua Flatter Klitschko fight got made, do you know how much Joshua got for that fight? You know what the purse split was? Do you guys know? Okay, there you go. It was a 50-50 split. So let me ask you something. Anthony Joshua was coming off of wins against Dillian White. He was coming off wins against Eric Molina, Charles Martin, and who else? Dominic Brazil. So based off those wins, what makes you think that he was entitled 50-50 against Klitschko? Yeah, Klitschko was a bigger draw, but why was Joshua more deserving 50-50 split against Klitschko? Why was he deserving that split? Yeah, but AJ wasn't doing big numbers though. This is all about numbers, right? So yeah, so he wasn't doing as big numbers as Klitschko. Because Klitschko in his right was doing 1.5, 1.4, 1.3 pay-per-view views in his in Germany where he was fighting. He was getting thousands of people come out. He was selling out stadiums. He at the time he was the one doing the A side. He's the one who's dictating the terms. He gave Joshua 50-50. So again, AJ wasn't doing those type of numbers as Klitschko was. So why was he deserving 50-50? Oh, because in the UK he was a bigger name. He was a champion. Okay, fair enough then. Wilder is a champion in this country too. So shouldn't he get 50-50? Yeah, Klitschko was beltless, yes, but he was still the A side. He was still the A side. He was a big draw. He had a big backing behind him too. AJ's backing was nowhere near Klitschko, and he still got 50%, and his resume was not even up to par with Klitschko. Not even up to par, not even close. He got 50-50. Okay? So that's what baffles me right here about all this, because I could go back in time that Vander Holyfield and Mike Tyson fought, and let me just make this parallel here. When the first time they fought, Mike Tyson got a way bigger split than Vander Holyfield. Holyfield didn't get 50-50 for that fight, that first fight. And he had a resume that was unbelievably great. A great resume. So I just don't understand the logic that AJ himself wasn't doing big numbers. Yes, he was a built rising star, but at the same time, come on, it's just no way I can see how he was justified 50-50. But we didn't care. The fight got made. It was a great fight. It is what it is. Yeah, David Haye had a better. David Haye, let's be real. David Haye had a better resume than Anthony Joshua going into that fight. Okay, David Haye was a unified cruiserweight champion. He was a lineal cruiserweight champion. He was beating better names than AJ at the time. So yeah, I can understand why he got 50-50. So you can't compare David Haye to Anthony Joshua. That I have to disagree with that situation. Totally disagree. T.Y. said he was billed as the A side in the Klitschko fight. Well, I don't know why, but clearly he wasn't. Even though he got the advantages. But I think, again, Phil, don't worry. I'm going to send you guys a link so y'all can come in and chop it up. Because I just don't understand the logic that AJ, yeah, you could say, you know what, he was selling out stadiums. That's great. But look at his pay-per-view numbers. His pay-per-view number, well, actually, he wasn't even doing stadium fights before the Klitschko fight. He was selling out arenas. That was great. But his pay-per-view numbers were very low. So I still don't understand why was he justified 50-50. A bigger name in the UK, but okay, but he was still up and coming though. That's fine. But you're telling me, man, I'm trying to understand this. David Haye, who's equally a bigger name than Anthony Joshua, or he's arguably the same name as Anthony Joshua at the time of his prime in the UK. But David Haye, I can understand why, because he had a resume going into the Klitschko fight. He had a draw and he had the resume. So how is that AJ, who could get 50-50, is on par to David Haye, who got 50-50 against Klitschko? What's up, Fight Doctor? I know, man. What's up, man? I knew it was you, bro. I knew it was you. Joho said 50-50 is only fair. We have two undefeated champions that are smoking through their opponents. Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. Me, personally, I don't give a fuck about this. That's why I don't care about the 50-50s. I mean, this was not a problem when AJ Klitschko fought. But yeah, he got 50-50. No one jumped on that. So I don't care. We got a great fight, okay? Shit, it is what it is, all right? So I don't know. People still argue Wilder gets 50-50. Who doesn't deserve 50-50? Who gives a fuck? Spencer Farron came out and said that Wilder deserves 50-50, and people got pissed off at him for saying it. If that's his opinion, that's his opinion. Who gives a fuck? As long as we get the fight, that's all that matters. So, as somebody, as you say, bro, it's not our money. It's not going in our pocket. So why the fuck do we care? All right, Wilder needs to get 60-40. I mean, that's a fair enough split. You know, the majority would agree to that. So, but the thing is that, again, I mean, if JJ got 50-50, he was a bit of a novice of a champion against Klitschko. Then come on, man. Seriously, his numbers weren't even that high. Yes, he was selling out. So he sold out a couple stadiums after the Dillian White fight, but his pay-per-view numbers weren't there. But come on. David Haye, on the other hand, had a resume. He was a long-reigning, he was a cruiserweight champion. You know, he's cleaned out that division. He was a lineal unified cruiserweight champion. He beat some pretty good names at heavyweight before he fought Klitschko. Some decent names, I may add. But yet, I can understand why he got 50-50. All right. All right, I'll send you guys a chat. Look, if Wilder's going to refuse a fight, hold out for 50-50, then one have to ask a question. Does Wilder deserve 50-50? That's what's preventing the fight going to Wilder. What's your answer, sir? Well, did Wilder said, is that the reason why he's holding up the fight? Is that the reason why Wilder said that 50-50 is the reason? Did he say that? Boxing fan, did he say that? If he did say that, then I totally disagree with Wilder for holding out on it. I totally disagree. But again, I think this fight's already made. They're just waiting for the right time to pull it out. I'm telling you right now. They're waiting for the right time to announce it, man. They're string. See, this is exactly what we're doing right now. We're arguing about this, having a debate back and forth. This is exactly what they want. The more attention this thing gets, the more it builds the fight. They know this. Both sides know this, man. They're smart enough to know what's going on, man. This is exactly what's going on with the Mayweather-Pacquiao saga. Exactly. All right, give me a minute. I'll send you guys a link. Give me a minute. Give me a moment. In fact, let me see if it works. Coco Yaris. Again, shout out to Lloyd Marshall's granddaughter who sent me that message on that comment on his video that I did about him. So yeah, hopefully she responds and I can get her on to do an interview about her grandfather's life and his legacy as a great middleweight fighter who never got a world title shot but beat a lot of Hall of Famers. So a lot of them up the list that you could name. So yeah. Shoho says same thing happening with EJ and Bud. Yeah, I agree. It could be the same situation. It could be the same thing. Wait. I'm gonna ask you a question about that. I'm biased. Who's the A side in that situation? Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford? Who's their A side? No. Who's the A side right now? Who's the A side right now? Hold on, y'all. My wife is talking. Go ahead, babe. I know, babe. Okay, I'll tell you what. If I go over time, I'll buy you something. I'll pass it over. All right. Ah, yeah, you do. Nah, I'm good. All right, y'all. So Spence is all right. So Spence is the A side. Everybody agrees he's on the A side. Now, I'm biased. Why don't you agree he's not the A side? Why? No, I'm biased. Biased. Here's the thing. I like Terrence Crawford, and you know I do. But Spence has an argument and say, hey, look, I did one pay-per-view, and I did more pay-per-view buys than you did on your first two pay-per-views. I sold out a stadium. Or actually, I'm not sure if I sold out, but I drew nearly 50,000 people in one fight. And I did that in your last two fights. So how could you say that you're the A side? You're gonna have to. I could dictate the terms now because I have a bigger buy rate than you, even though I have one belt, and you have a belt. Yes, you're 2 division champion, so you're in my division now. So I pull in the numbers. So you have to dictate. I dictate the terms. So doesn't Spence have an argument of him being the A side in the Crawford situation? Hold on, brother. I'm giving you the link. Hold on. That is a good point. That's a good point, Kiwi. But to be fair, though, Spence was the headliner. He was the headliner. He does have a very, 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 very good following in his hometown in Dallas, Texas. He's very popular there. Very popular there. Yeah, Spence did one pay per view. He has claimed more to be in the A side, but we gotta see the other numbers for him. But I wouldn't be mad if he. Well, bias. I'm not sure that's you're trying not to concede to that fact, but I know you're trying so hard. But as a Terrence Crawford fan, I hate to say this, but Spence does have a good argument to be the A side here. So he does have a good argument because again, he can go back to Terrence Crawford and say, "Look, I did one pay per view. I had like one pay per view. I did more buys than you in your first two pay per views. I drew more than you, so you got to do things my way if you want to fight with me." He can say that. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. I hope Earl Spence don't go that route. And believe me, he is ducking the fight, but he can go that route and say that. He can do that because Crawford underperformed in his pay per view fight against Amir Khan. That's a fact. He did. And dreadly underperformed against Victor Postal, which I believe that was never a pay-per-view fight to begin with. But it is what it is. Right, but it looks like Mikey was the draw here. Yeah, I mean, Mikey was responsible too. Don't get me wrong, because he does have the... No, I don't. Sorry. No, I don't. Go. You can go check. But anyways. But yeah, but Crawford pay-per-view was a flop. Well, two pay-per-views was a flop. If Spence only had one pay-per-view, and that was a success. So I'm just saying he has an argument that he could be the A side. And again, Spence definitely is ducking the fight right now. But if they were to sit down and talk to at the negotiation table, he can say, look, if you want to fight with me, you got to do things my way. I dictate the terms. I have a bigger, strong power than you. So you got to do things my way. It's all good. It's all good, Joe. It's all good. Tony Elliott says, is Spence Crawford finalized? Let's see. Let me look on that. Ring, what's up, Ring IQ? He says, Baron arguments. I'm hearing Baron gifts. Well, let's see. Cause I'm biased is fucking biased. That's Phil. Let's see. Percy, what's happening? Percy says Spence is the A side, but I think Crawford's a better fighter. Oh, absolutely. I think Crawford beats Spence by a mile. I mean, let me take that back. I don't think it beat him by a mile, but it'll definitely be competitive. But you know, Crawford will definitely figure him out as the fight goes on. Definitely figure him out. Let me see. Phil Savage, what's your prediction on White versus Rivas? Let me break that down, Mr. Boxley, today. No, I said hello to you, Ring, bro. I said hello, bro. I just saw you in the chat, dog. I said hello, dog. Yeah, you know, Ring, that's the thing. Spencer Crawford may never fight, and may never fight. That is a possibility. I'm not gonna deny that. And we could see the same for Wilder and Joshua. And you know, and McGregor and I were talking about this the other night, and way things are looking, you know, and from another perspective, even though I believe the fight will be done next year, is already done. It was just gonna be it's gonna be announced for next year. There's still a possibility that we could go. That fight could be the Lennox Lewis and Riddick BOWE route, where in that situation, we all know Riddick BOWE had no interest in fighting Lennox Lewis because he knew Lennox Lewis could beat him, given the fact that their Olympic fight, their gold medal game that they had back in '88, where Lennox Lewis was beat Riddick BOWE, and Riddick BOWE actually never got over that loss from an emotional standpoint. So it is what it is on that situation. Yes, I agree. Yeah, you have a good point there, Ring. Good point there. So yeah, back to Mr. Boxer today. My thoughts on White versus Rivas. I think it's going to be a phone booth fight. If you think about it, it's going to be a phone booth fight. It's going to be up and close. It's going to be shots that's going to be exchanged between the two. I think Dillian White, for the most part, is going to give Oscar Rivas some respect because Oscar Rivas is known to go back, is always on the front foot, on the lead foot in his fights. He's always coming forward, pressuring you. So, yeah, my bad, dog. Let me get you in. Hold on. Let me get you in. I know. Yeah, shit. What's going on here? My bad. My bad. So let's see. All right, doctor. Yo, hop on. Let's see. I forgot to post a link there.
All right. Yes, Dan, how's it going? Can you hear me?
No, not there. What's going on here? Did somebody just hung on? Yeah, Ahmed, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, dog. How you doing?
Yeah, how's it going?
I'm all right, man. I know it's like 1:45 a.m. on your side of neck of the woods.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump on because I just wanted to speak about the whole 50-50. Like, I don't
Yeah.
really care about how much these guys make, yeah. So I just want to put that out there. But you talked about Klitschko. The thing I wanted to say was, I don't think he deserved 50-50 with Klitschko. Like, just talk about that fight. Like,
Okay.
1 second, let's not mention Joshua. But Klitschko conceded ground for that fight because he wanted to make the fight.
Right.
Now I don't know how these guys Hearn and Joshua go about. I don't think they're gonna concede stuff. It looks like if they do, then that's great because we'll get to see a great fight. But it looks like they're not gonna do that. But he, I think had more of a leverage to bring 50-50 because he was a bigger name I think at the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's my whole point. Hey, actually was a bigger name, and he had a resume.
Yeah.
He had a resume.
I don't know. Do you think resume plays a part in?
It plays a part to some degree, but again, let me rephrase it a little bit. It does play to a part to some degree, but hey, did have drawing power too. He did. He did.
That's
so,
yeah. All right, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. So he was a bigger name probably than Joshua at the time in the UK.
Yeah.
Before Joshua was gonna fight Klitschko and he was gonna fight what was his name? Klitschko.
Right.
He could have sold out stadiums. I just don't know why they didn't do that. But he was a bigger pay-per-view draw and a draw in the UK. That I agree with, and he was a champion as well. But the thing was, that fight was going to be in Germany, innit, when they fought. My point is this: in Germany, Klitschko deserved more than 50-50. Now against, I could hear feedback one second.
My bad. Who's that feedback? Is that coming from me? Is that or? Probably the fight doc. Hey, Phil?
No, Phil's on mute.
Nah, I'm on mute.
Oh, Phil's off mute now. I can't even hear him. Can you hear him?
All right. It might be fight doctor. But anyway, so I think Klitschko and Joshua, at the time, there was a bit of different. Klitschko was coming off a loss. He wasn't active. But I do agree. If that fight was in Germany, I think Klitschko would have deserved more than 50-50. But the thing is, in the UK, Joshua was a bigger draw. That's what I was trying to say. So, but with those two fights, it was like different because one was in Germany, but still, even in Germany, I still think he had an argument for.
Look,
50-50.
Look, man, the Klitschko and Joshua.
That somewhat makes sense, but again,
it just does.
It kind of negates the.
But that's what
argument.
But see, but this is the thing right here. The Klitschko.
What'd you say?
The Klitschko and Joshua fight.
Klitschko twice conceded the split, innit? That's what I'm saying. He's the guy that was willing to accept, or let the, B-side to get whatever, 50-50. I think Klitschko was a very smart businessman. He could get fights done. I don't know if Joshua and his team are willing to do that. Now, that's what I'm trying to say. That's a major
exactly.
block. That's a major
So look, hold on.
Right.
Can y'all hear me?
That's the thing about Klitschko. As much as we crapped on him for his fighting style for the most part of his career, he got a lot of big fights done in his time. He did that. And it's like, I mean, not say Joshua can't get fight done. He can. Let me be fair to Joshua. He could get some fights done. But it's like the biggest fight of them all. It just seems like, what's the problem here? Oh, I don't think they hear you. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, let me switch to my other phone. Yeah, they probably don't hear me. Hold on for a second, guys.
No, you can hear you.
You can hear me, but I don't think the other two guys can't.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Can you hear them?
Yeah, you could hear you.
Can you hear me?
Phil's off mute.
Can you hear
Phil?
I could hear both.
I can't hear him. Hold on for a second.
I can hear you guys.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I could hear you.
Hey, man, what's up, man? You talking about you want some smoke, man? Look here, man. You don't want none of this shit, man. I'm finna boost down everything that you say just because I feel like doing that today.
Nah, go ahead. So anyway, I personally think right now I don't think you could compare Wilder with Joshua to Klitschko. Klitschko was a bigger name at that time.
Oh,
And still,
absolutely. I'm not doing
yeah.
that. What I'm
So
So hold
saying
on.
is
So hold on,
hold on. What I'm
hold on,
saying
Dan.
is that in a
Let me,
situation where Anthony Joshua was up and coming, yes, he was a rising star after capturing the title against Charles Martin, but he never really drew the numbers that would justify 50-50. Let's be realistic. He never did. But he
so
got
look,
no,
hold on.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Let me
Klitschko conceded.
let me jump in on this. Let me jump in on this,
I'm
right?
sorry.
Dan,
Go
can
ahead,
you
man.
hear me?
Yeah, okay, let me
I could hear him, man. I
okay,
don't
go
know.
ahead. Go ahead.
Let
Dan,
him.
can
Yeah,
you hear me?
yeah, I could hear him.
All right.
So look, check this out, man. Let
You
me
know
give
what?
it
Go
to
ahead
you.
and speak on it. I'm gonna go jump on the other side so I can hear all you guys. All right.
Yeah, so let me give it to you straight right here. This is the facts right here. The Joshua and Klitschko fight was somewhat a perfect storm in regards to the matchup, right? You had the young, hungry, homegrown UK fighter, and he was trying to, um, you know, put himself a level above everybody by taking a extreme step up fight. Because you got to think about it. Let's be honest about it. At this particular time, when Klitschko and AJ fought, the heavyweight division was really just kind of starting to get heated up a little bit. It just, it was the water was simmering, wasn't quite boiling like it is now. You had Tyson Fury who had defeated Klitschko right before that, but I mean, the heavyweight division wasn't nearly as what it's become at this particular point in time. So a fight like AJ and Klitschko was something that fans were clamoring for. You understand what I'm saying? And it was just one of them kind of situations where it was the perfect storm. And because it was a perfect storm, I think that's why they got 50-50, because it was nothing out there left for them.
Yeah, so I agree with what you're saying. This is what I'm trying to say. Look, if Wilder gets 50-50 and the fight gets made, that's good. I don't think he deserves it, and I think Joshua will have been the bigger man who has conceded ground. But if that's what it takes to make the fight, then so be it. I just want to see the fight. But my point is this: I do think at the time when Joshua fought Klitschko, yeah, I do agree that I don't like Klitschko was the bigger draw, and he was the one who made that fight. But I do think that Joshua had more of an argument to get 50-50, which he got in the end, or whatever, with the purse than Wilder at the moment, because Joshua was the home fighter who was a bigger draw in the country and was the guy who was bringing in most of the fans. What was it, 90,000, and was a pay-per-view.
Well, to be fair though, Joshua wasn't doing a stadium fight before that fight. That was his
Oh,
first stadium.
that was his first stage.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it took,
and that's what I was just trying to tell you, Hamed. Like that fight right there was a perfect storm, because for the very reasons I just told you. You got to think about it. The heavyweight division wasn't really, and this just was a few years ago. But from what the heavyweight division was at that point to what it is now, it's a total 360.
I
Okay,
know, but
you had Tyson Fury. You had Tyson Fury who was on hiatus. Okay, and the only other person that people was talking about was Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, even Wilder name wasn't being brought up a hell of a whole lot. You know, understand what I'm saying? So that fight right there was the young, homegrown UK fighter fighting against somebody who was trying to prove that he still had it. It was a perfect storm, man. That's
yeah,
why
but
that
this is
fight
what I'm trying to.
happened
This is what I'm
the
trying to
way it
say.
chime in
did.
real quick? Guys, can I
Yeah,
chime in
go
real
go.
quick?
Fight doctor, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So, listen, the reason why the Joshua Klitschko fight was made is because Klitschko needed Joshua. Okay? Klitschko saw
Joshua
Joshua.
needed Klitschko.
Dog, Joshua needed Klitschko, man. Yeah. But go ahead, fight
No.
doctor.
Klitschko needed Joshua. Okay? He
What?
did.
Why? Why did
Well,
he need a Joshua for?
For one, Joshua had a title.
Okay.
It was
Right.
either it was if he wanted the title, he had one of three options: either Wilder, Fury, or
Oh, he's
Joshua.
talking about the point of Klitschko's career because he was coming off a loss, isn't he? Yeah,
Okay.
I get what you mean by
Okay.
that.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
but I don't think that mattered, because you got to think about it, fight doctor. They made that fight. They fought for a vacant belt, didn't they?
They fought
No.
for, yes, they fought
Joshua
for
had
vacant
one belt.
WBA belt. Yes, they
Yeah.
That's
did.
what I'm saying. There was a vacant belt. And
No, but he had
I
one
honestly and I really think that they fought for that vacant belt because Klitschko had that belt before fucking Tyson Fury took all of them. So I don't think he needed Joshua. I think a lot of that probably had to do
Joshua
with the
had one
WBA too.
belt, and the other belt was vacant. So it was
Yeah.
essentially Joshua was a champion with one vacant belt. I think the only other time recently I remember was when
Well,
Khan fought Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
well,
But this is what I was
well,
going to
either way,
say. All right, go.
well, either way it goes, Klitschko needed Joshua. And I think the Klitschko people saw Joshua as a guy who was untested, unproven, had done nothing but knock over tomato cans, chinny with bad stamina.
Right.
Now, it just turns out that
Well, hold up, Fight Doctor. In Joshua's
What
defense,
up, man?
nobody knew he had bad stamina at that point
No, oh,
because
my
no,
bad.
he was destroying
we knew.
everybody.
I'm gonna go ahead and put you a link. Give me a minute, all right? All right, cool.
No, we knew that Joshua had stamina problems. Okay, we already knew we already knew that. Okay, and that's part of the reason why Team Klitschko took the fight.
What fight did he
Okay,
gas in after?
and
I
look,
can't remember.
all the things that we knew about Joshua before the fight, chinny, bad stamina, inexperience, all those things were proven true in the Klitschko fight. He got knocked down.
So
he
Fight
gassed
Doctor.
out in about the 56th round.
Fight Doctor. So look, let me ask you something. And you know, I'm listening to you, but this is my whole deal right here with what you're saying. And maybe you can emphasize this and you can point out some key points that maybe I don't see. You know, Joshua he's been hit, but it's not like he's ever been stopped. So is he chinny? No, I don't think so.
I think Chinny's a bit strong.
Hold up. Hold on. Let me finish. Okay. Now, honestly, I don't think Joshua has stamina problems. I think he gassed at the beginning of the fight because he didn't pace himself properly. The second half of the fight, it was Klitschko who was gassed. Now, let's be honest about this. AJ came on strong those last couple of rounds. But go ahead, finish.
No, listen. Joshua clearly gassed out in about the 56th round. Okay.
But could that be due to pacing issues, not pacing himself properly?
No, it's due to the fact. Look, you could probably figure some inexperience as maybe somewhat of a factor, but I think the overall factor, the fact that Joshua has stamina issues. I think that's the problem, man. Okay. Yeah, that's what the problem is. And we saw that because he gassed out in the Klitschko fight. He's gassed out in other fights too. Okay. And listen, at the end of the day, had that been Wilder in front of him instead of Klitschko, Josh would have got knocked out. That's probably the reason why the fight hasn't happened. Okay. And real quick, I don't want to get off topic, but there was a statement made earlier about Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe that I take issue with.
Okay, I gotta hear
the microphone.
Yeah, I gotta hear that. Yeah, speak up in the microphone, Doctor. I gotta hear that one. Yeah, go ahead.
I personally think that the Riddick Bowe who beat Evander Holyfield in the first fight would have beaten Lennox Lewis.
Nah,
right?
no,
and here are my reasons why.
Oh, I gotta hear this one. Go ahead, man.
Here are my reasons why.
All right.
Riddick Bowe has a good chin. Lennox Lewis does not. Okay, and Riddick Bowe would have been the most skilled heavyweight that Lennox Lewis had ever fought. I mean, let's look at Lewis's resume. Now, Lewis has a good resume, but name me one heavyweight on his resume who's more skilled than a prime 1993 Riddick Bowe.
I'm sorry. Repeat that.
Name me one heavyweight on Lennox Lewis's resume who is more skilled, more athletic, more dangerous than a 1993 prime Riddick Bowe.
Mike Tyson.
Who is that guy?
Mike Tyson.
He wasn't. No, we can't say that about Mike. Not at that time. We know when Mike and Lennox.
Well, Bowe beat Holyfield.
Mike was finished.
Yeah,
Mike was finished. So,
but his question. But no. It's fair to say because his question was what heavyweight who was just as skilled, who was very dangerous on his resume. Then what was that question about Riddick Bowe on Lennox Lewis's resume? Right. That was big.
Right.
Who was more powerful? Who's skilled than Riddick Bowe?
Holyfield beat BOWE as well, though. Come on, you can't.
That's true.
use that.
That's true. That's true. But I'm saying that you could use Holyfield, you could use Tyson. They were more skills. They were more skillful than BOWE. They were.
Yeah,
They
but
were.
by the time Lennox fought Mike, Mike wasn't Mike from the 80s. Mike was just looking
That's
for
true.
one big punch to end the fight. So to call him skilled at the time that they fought, that don't add up. I would say
Yo, look. I'm gonna put it to you like this right here, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. A Lennox Lewis who is focused, who takes training camp serious, beats Riddick BOWE easily. Period.
Thank you.
And I don't know about that. And I don't know
No,
about
I'm telling you.
You know why I'm gonna say that? You know why I'm gonna say that? Because the Rockman fight. If Rockman could, if we gonna play the
man, but hold on, man. Hold on, man. Lewis wasn't serious about that fight. He wasn't serious about that.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Hold on. Wait, Doctor. Hold up. Ring, finish your point, and then one of you guys can jump back in. Go ahead, Ring. What's up, by the way, bro?
Is it fair to say that Riddick BOWE was a better fighter than Oliver McCall, than Rockman? Yes, he was. So if Lennox got caught by them guys, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that at the right time, BOWE would have got him. But that's why I don't play the hypothetical game, because that's not how it happened.
This is all opinion, though. This could go either way.
That's what I'm saying. But
wait,
hold on. Let me get my thoughts. At the end of the day, let me finish my point.
Okay.
My point.
All right, go ahead, man.
Riddick BOWE had discipline issues, so we giving him a little bit too much credit because he did have discipline issues. He did balloon in weight, so I'm not gonna give him the extra credit. Like, yeah, he would have got him this, that, and the third. It's possible, but you know what? That's not what happened. We know what happened. Right?
Well, let me hold on. Let me say something real quick. Let me respond to that. Let me just say that I don't think Riddick BOWE won that fight. I know this is all a matter of opinion, but let me just tell you from an observation why I thought he would have lost that fight. Let me tell you why. Riddick BOWE, yes, if he was disciplined and he was focused, he probably would have stood a better chance against Lennox Lewis. But the problem with Riddick BOWE is that he got hit way too much. He got hit against guys he should never got hit against. He got hit against Pinkland Thomas. He got hit against Burt Cooper, R.I.P. Burt Cooper. He got hit against Tyrell Biggs, of all people. Tyrell Biggs almost knocked him out, okay? And Tyrell Biggs wasn't known to be a big puncher, okay? So that,
Wait,
and he was...
Can I answer that?
Oh, no, hold up, man. Tony Tubbs was putting hands on him. Over the hill, overweight Tony Tubbs was putting hands on him. Elijah Tillery was putting hands on him a little bit in their second fight. Okay, and
God damn, that's how long Tony Thompson been in the game. He fought BOWE and Ortiz.
Not Tony Thompson. Not Tony Thompson. Tony Tubbs. Not Tony Thompson.
I was about to say, like, I know you guys talking about Tony.
Wait. Can I jump in? I have a rebuttal to that.
Oh, come on, man. All right, go ahead, rebut that.
Right.
This dude is trolling.
Let's not pretend as if we haven't seen a prime Lennox Lewis get 1 punch knocked out by Mike Tyson's sparring partner of all people. Let's not forget that, okay?
But he beat them both in the rematch.
Wait, but the rematch doesn't count. Come on, man.
Why? How the rematch?
Yo, hold up, fight doctor. Every fight counts, my brother. Every fight counts.
Come on, man. Oliver McCall was fresh out of rehab.
This dude is trolling.
Come on,
man.
stop.
No. Let's get
come on, man. I thought we were having some serious boxing discussion here, okay? Look, I say, well, what about the Frank Bruno fight? Who remembers that?
He got Bruno out.
He knocked him out.
He beat the fuck out of Frank Bruno.
What happened prior to the knockout? Lennox Lewis was getting a handle, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, he was losing that fight.
Well, yeah. So let me hold up, Dan. Please let me jump in on this, right? Because so this is my whole deal right here, and I'm gonna put it to you straight, okay? And this is as clear cut as I can be without having too many hypotheticals, right? Yeah. It's a fact. Riddick BOWE got hit a lot, okay? Mm-hmm. That's a fact. I think everybody would pretty much agree with that. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that BOWE wasn't a good fighter, but defensively he was below average to me personally.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, his defense was terrible.
Can I say something?
Okay, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. His defense was definitely below average. Okay. Now, Lennox Lewis. Okay. Now, and I'm gonna put it to you straight. A prime Lennox Lewis, when he takes a fight serious and he comes in and he's focused and he's disciplined and he's throwing his jab, I guarantee you he wouldn't have been, if he tried to, he wouldn't have been able to miss both face with that jab. I'm telling you, He wouldn't have been able to miss his face with that jab.
That's
Yep.
And I'm just and like I say, I think Lennox Lewis probably has one of the best jabs in boxing. To me, he's top 10 in jabbers for heavyweight of all time.
Easily, he right up
So
there with Holmes and Ali.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like I say, I'm gonna try to do this without using too many hypotheticals. I think BOWE gets hit way too much. His defense was below average, and when you're going against somebody that's a premium puncher as far as having a jab, I mean, it's just kind of hard to bet against him in that kind of scenario.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you stick to facts,
Bo has the better win.
Go
If
ahead,
you-
man. Finish up, man. Go ahead, brother.
If we
Go
stick
ahead.
to facts, Lennox knocked him out in the amateurs. All right, amateurs, some people seem to ignore him. But another thing was he also threw his belt in the trash can and he blatantly ducked Lewis. Now,
Yeah,
if you go by
Yeah.
resume, Lewis beat Holyfield once, and the other fight was, all right, we could agree, was a robbery, was a draw. He didn't lose the fight.
Stop. Hold on, wait. Bo beat up in his prime Evander Holyfield.
He
No,
also
man,
lost to him. Nah.
Wait, hold up. I gotta stop you, Doctor. First of all, Holyfield when Holyfield regained his form after he came back in the second after the Mike Tyson fight. After
That's
the
what
first
I'm
fight, Tyson, he regained his form. He beat Michael Moore and he avenged that fight. He beat the Von Bean. I'm not saying Von Bean was a great fighter. He beat Moore. He beat Tyson in the second fight, even though it was via disqualification. And the dude was on top of his game, man. Even one of those fights, they favored Holyfield to beat Lewis in their first fight. So he was going in there.
But all that happened after Riddick Bowe handed Evander Holyfield.
Riddick Bowe lost to him as well, bro. You keep leaving that out.
Yeah,
And
Riddick Bowe.
another thing is when Lewis fought him, Holyfield was you could see a proper heavyweight. When Bowe fought him, look, Bowe beat him fair and square in the first fight. It was it was the first fight, if I recall, and it was a great fight. But Bowe also went life and death with him. Now that was a great fight as a fan, but he did also lose to him. My point is, Lewis.
Wait.
Come on, bro. You can't keep doing that. Look, Lewis also beat
Evander Holyfield more convincingly than Lennox Lewis ever
No, he did. No, he didn't.
Oh,
He knocked him out. He knocked him out.
You talking about that third fight? Yeah, Holyfield was putting hands on him. Holyfield dropped Bowe in that fight, almost knocked him out. But Bowe had to go life or death and knock him out.
That's what I'm saying. So another thing was, if you compare the resumes, one guy beat Tyson, Holyfield, Vitaly Klitschko. If you want to add, the guy had a much better resume, and the guy who ducked him, you got to look at that, man. He blatantly didn't want the fight. So look, if they fought, we'll never know who would have won because a fight will come down to whatever happens, his opinion. But if you go by what the past shows, that
Well,
if you go
by styles, I'd still give it to Lewis. I just don't rule out the possibility that something nasty could get through. But if you go by the styles of both of them, he's not getting past that jab. Forget it.
Yeah.
He's not getting past that jab. And that's the determining factor for me is that jab, that 1-2. Lewis's 1-2 was a thing of beauty. So
absolutely. I mean, the way
that's the whole thing, man. Just the superior, skill set, man. And just the lack of defense on Bowe's part. Like, I just can't. I'm not going to rule it out because Lennox will get caught. You know what I'm saying? Of course. But like you said, man, that 1-2 is just. That shit would have been coming hard.
Bowe, if Bowe could close the gap, if Bowe had the kind of head movement to where he don't stay so close to the fucking center line and he don't just get hit in the fucking face, then maybe. But that wasn't Bowe's forte. So in order for you to get with Bowe was real good mid-range to inside. But in order for you to get there, you're gonna have to get hit in the fucking face a lot. You're gonna get hit a lot.
Well, let me say, man, hold on.
And let's be honest, his jab, it was hitting people. It wasn't no regular jab when it hit you. It hit you hard.
Yeah, his jab was hard. But let me say this about Lennox Lewis. A lot of people said he's been chinny throughout his career. I actually disagree with that. Let me tell you why. I look back at all his fights.
That's
all right. The way Shannon Briggs was hitting him, Shannon Briggs hit this dude with bombs and Lennox Lewis didn't go down. Number one. All right. We all know Shannon Briggs hits fucking hard. That dude hits very hard.
Shannon Briggs had a hell of a lot of first round knockouts. Like Shannon Briggs,
Ray Mercer, that was a good opponent. He beat him.
Ray Mercer hit him with a bomb too. Yeah, Ray Mercer was a hard punching heavyweight too. He hit He hit Lewis with some bombs, and I thought Ray Merce won that fight. It's still close. It could have gone either way. But Evander Holyfield cracked him very hard in their second fight too. Almost knocked him out. I think it was in the 7th round or the 4th round, 5th round with the left hook.
You know what the thing about heavyweights is? It's hard to call a guy chinny. Like, look, for a long time I felt like Vladimir was a chinny guy, but then I thought about it. If this motherfucker's chinny, if he's chinny, how the fuck could he not get knocked out for 9 years straight? If he's chinny,
exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like my perspective. When Vlad first came on the scene, I had just seen the Corey Saunders fight.
Yeah,
I'm like, this motherfucker can't take a punch, man. Like, you in the wrong weight class. Like,
well,
get out of here.
Actually hit very hard. He was a very, very hard puncher with that left hand. His left hand was dynamite. I know
that guy was underrated, man.
So Lopez talked about Donna Stevens' left hand being dynamite. I mean, look at Corey Sanders' left hand. That man's left hand was dynamite.
And that's the thing, that it's like Tom tell a story. They're like, look, if Vlad was chinny, look at some of the guys that he fought. You know what I mean? In them 9 years, all right? Povetkin, he fought a lot of fucking people, man. A lot of people. So if he really was chinny, somebody would have fucking got his ass. When it comes to the heavyweight division, that's the only division where I'm like, I don't even know if I could call a guy chinny. Because every one of these motherfuckers can knock each other out.
Yeah, that's true. I do think Klitschko had a better defense in the, when he was reigning for that long time, and then I don't think his chin got any better. His defense got better. I do think his chin was a bit. People exaggerated because he took big shots even when he had a really good defense. But I was gonna see Lennox Lewis, to call him chinny. He went from the first Oliver McCall fight all the way up till the 2001
when he got knocked out by Rockman.
That was a long time to, not get knocked out the ring for so long. So I think that kind of one fight, people like to kind of hop onto it. But
I agree with that.
And also, let me add too, and Lennox Lewis was in the worst conditions, shape-wise, condition-wise, when he in his last fight against Vitaly Klitschko. We all know Vitaly Klitschko hits hard too.
Yes,
Vitaly hit the bombs, and Lennox didn't go down, but he found a way to fight off of that and win that fight. You know what I mean?
I think, it's like when it comes to chins in the heavyweight division, I think some guys got better chins than others. Some guys just got better, but the caller it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like David Price, all right, he's chinny. He's chinny. That guy,
he's very chinny.
he's chinny. But to say like, oh, Vlad, nah, you can't reign for 9 years in a heavyweight division and be chinny. You one punch away every fight from getting knocked the fuck out. And for 9, close to 10 years, you ain't get knocked the fuck out. Now you can't be chinny, man. It can't be that.
I agree with that. That's
go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah. Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead, man. Finish up, man.
So I think to compare someone like Wilder to Vlad's chin, I think is a bit disrespectful. Because when you're reigning as the number one guy for that long, now I do think Wilder's chin isn't that great, but he's shown that he could take, a better shot than some people.
When it comes to Wilder, you know why it looked like he chinny? You know why it looked like why he chinny? Because of his foot, and that's why. He's off balance a lot. So when he get hit wrong. He get hit wrong.
Yeah.
If he were on balance, if he had better foot position during the fight, the punch probably wouldn't have that much on it. But he don't slip, he don't roll, he don't do none of that. So when he get hit, he get all of it.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
He takes shots, but he don't want to be Wilder. Let me just say something. I can tell you one thing about Wilder. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
hear me? Yeah, I was gonna say Wilder does roll off the shots. So but to your point though, the reason why when he gets hit, it looks kind of awkward because he doesn't have the good bounce. I do that one. He needs to work on foot position a bit better. If he can work on his bounce, go ahead.
Look at the Molina fight, right? You look at the Molina fight. He walked into a left hook and he was squared up, like both shoulders was kind of facing Molina. So you get hit, anybody get hit like that. Right. It's gonna fuck him up. You squared up, like you get hit, you gonna be off balance. So it's not so much that the dude can't take a punch. He just be in the wrong fucking position a lot. So when he get hit, he get all of it. He get the whole motherfucking punch.
That's true. I think he answered some questions. Like, I gotta give him credit. Those shots that Ortiz landed, and those were big shots. Like those were like 20-something unanswered shots. So he did show he could take a shot. He showed he got a heart. But I do still think Joshua got a better.
Did he show he could take a shot, or did he show that Ortiz can't really finish? Because I mean,
Ortiz could finish, bro. He could finish. It's just that
he should have finished Hammer.
The round ended though.
He should have finished Kaufman. I thought he was gonna finish both of them. He ain't finishing.
Well, Wilder, just so Wilder had heart and he had the durability. That just shows that he has it. Because Ortiz could punch, man. He could punch very hard.
No, he
All
got
right.
saved by the bell, though. You got to remember that as well.
That
And
too. That too.
Then there was another round, and I do agree though. Ortiz didn't have the legs, or I don't know if it's the age, but
I think it was a fatigue. It was a fatigue.
Yeah,
He gassed out. Yeah, he gassed out.
In that round, he was hurting him. Waldo was almost gone. Like, the only thing that saved Waldo was the belt. So I don't think you could say anything to Ortiz that round. The round after, maybe you could say he was slightly tired, but I still do think Joshua got a slightly better chin because those shots that he took from Dillian Whyte and Klitschko, like a lot of those shots, I think would have knocked out a majority of the other heavyweights. Now that doesn't mean
you know he got a chin because he took a left hook from Pavek, and that left hook from Pavek can be knocking most motherfuckers out. When he come down, when he dipped down, when he come in at that slight crouch mid range, and he come up with that left hook, most motherfuckers hit the deck. Joshua ate one of those. So
that was a good shot.
Look, man. I'm gonna tell you something. This is the realness right here. Klitschko hit him with a straight right, and the fact of the matter is, Klitschko got a hell of a 1-2 himself. And I mean, he got up from that shit, and then he got up, and then he rallied. You know what I'm saying? So you know, like, this is my deal. I mean, it's heavyweight. Like, if any heavyweight hits you square, you liable to fall down. You're gonna get dazed. Like, I'm just saying. Like, if you ain't never been stopped, I don't want to hear a fucking thing about your chin. Excuse me for cursing on your live, Dan, but I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? That's just like when people be like, well, Keith Thurman can't take it to the body. We ain't never been stopped to the body. So AJ ain't never been stopped.
See, with Keith is different. You know why it's different with Keith?
Nah, man, it's not. It's not.
Well, let Rick finish.
I'm not gonna criticize Keith, but what I'm gonna say is I always look for what warrants a response. If he get hit in a certain spot, and I see he responded to that, how his body language looking, I could say, yeah, he can't really take it there. When I looked at the dude that Tevin Farmer fought. What's this dude's name, man? Start with a T. Not John O'Carroll, but the dude before that.
Francisco.
Tennyson. He fought Tennyson.
The British guy.
And I knew, look, Tevin Farmer don't hit that hard. He ain't got but like 6 knockouts. But I knew Tennyson can't take it to the body. So if Farmer goes there, he's going to get him out of there. What he did, he went to the body, he got him out of there.
Right.
I look at Keith and I'm like, I think he got a glass body because every time he get hit there, his body language changed.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sergey Kovalev. Every time Kovalev gets hit there, his whole body language changed. And Kovalev,
I wouldn't go that far, man. I think Thurman could take a better shot than Kovalev because those shots, that shot that he took from Collazo, like that.
Look, man, this the point I'm trying to make, right? The point I'm trying to make is I don't want to hear nothing about nobody can't take no kind of shots if you ain't never been stopped with that particular shot. To me, until somebody stop you to the body or somebody stop you to your chin, you ain't chinny. Now, can you be hit? Yeah, of course. Do you like it? Maybe I don't know. I'm not a psychic, but the fact of the matter is, if you ain't never been stopped, then you good. Period.
But depends. If you're getting hurt, like it depends. When Khan was coming up, I know this is a bad example because he's got one of the worst chins. But I remember people start calling him chinny earlier on because he was getting dropped by guys like Willie Lemon. So, I mean, it depends who you're getting hurt by. If you're getting hurt by guys that
that's true too. You got to look at who the punch is coming from.
Yeah, that's
true. But hey, guys, I want to say McGregor's on. What's up, McGregor?
What's up, Don? How's it going? What's up, man?
I'm good, brother. We're good here. We're just talking about the Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe situation, and we just kind of somewhat equated to Wilder and Joshua thing. We got to get back to that one in a second because we could possibly end up in that situation. I know we talked about this yesterday. So you have your thoughts about that? You still believe that?
Yeah, I don't think the fight's ever going to happen. I really don't. My main reasons are right now it's the middle of 2019. If that fight weren't to happen by 2020, going into 2021, Wilder's going to be 34. Wilder's main strength is his athleticism. Is anyone going to deny that his athleticism and his punching power?
No, we're not going to deny that.
Starts leaving him, the risk of his career ending before he gets to 49-0 will be greater by fighting a fighter like Joshua in his prime of Wilder's towards the end of his peak.
Right.
You mentioned that yourself, Dan. You think that he's chasing that 49-0 as well.
Yeah, I think he is. But to me, you know, when I look at that, it doesn't really mean much. Depends on what you put on your record to make it mean something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
but Waldo won't be thinking that way.
Nah,
Yeah, he won't.
He won't. But
He
I'd be
won't.
honest with you, I don't know if he can get there the way things are going. I don't think he can get
Nah, he can't. I mean, look, you
that.
gotta look at who's coming up right now.
Exactly.
Dubois coming up right now. Tony Yoka's coming up right now. Hergovic
Yeah.
is coming. The division is gonna be disgusting in about 2 fucking years. It's gonna be real hard for anybody with a belt to hang on to a belt.
Yeah, exactly. If he a job,
Yeah,
that dude's
that's why I was saying earlier. That's why I made that point earlier when Klitschko and AJ fought. Like that shit was a couple years ago, but just think about how the division is from even then to now, and think about it from 2 years from now. How it's gonna be? It's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys. Like I got my eye on Yoka in spite of the pad shit because Yoka's the only one I seen when he throw punches. He looked like a fucking middleweight, but he got the same dimensions as Joshua, as Wild. He's a big guy, about 6'6", athletic, but the quality of his movement is so coordinated that I'm like, man, if this dude get right, he might beat the shit out of everybody.
He could. And then Wilder spar with him leading up to the Brazil fight? Because I know he was one of his sparring partners,
I think
right?
he did.
Yeah, he was there at that training camp. So yeah, Yoka's pretty impressive. But as you say, man, that old PAD situation, he's banned from France for a while. He can't fight there.
Well, you know what the shit is? He ain't test positive for pads. The shit was he missed so many fucking tests.
Oh, that's right, he did.
I think he missed like 6 tests in 2 years. It's like, bro, if you ain't on something,
dude.
why the fuck you keep missing these tests? You missed like 6 tests in 2 years.
Yo, look, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Anybody that missed that many tests, bro, I mean, you might as well be dirty, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's just ridiculous, man. Like, why you missing these? Like, why you missing this many tests? You are. He might be the least responsible adult in history. Cuz, like, what's wrong with this boy?
I can only think of one reason. Yoka, you know how the clean boxing program works. You got to be ranked in the top 15 for that shit to even come into it. With the fair boxing program, you got to be ranked in the top 5. Whereas Tony Yoka, he's in a fucking anti-doping program, and he's not even on the world level yet. So that shit costs money. And the only thing I could think is he probably didn't feel like paying for that shit because that shit is, I think it's like 30 G's. I think it's like 30 G's for them tests. So he probably like, man, suck my dick. I'm not paying for that shit. I ain't even ranked yet. I ain't fighting for a title. Why are y'all testing me? That's the only.
But that wasn't under VADA. That wasn't under VADA. Those weren't VADA tests.
VADA. That wasn't VADA. That's some French shit they got going. I don't even know the name of the shit that the agency that was trying to test them. But that wasn't VADA. It's a WADA.
It was the United French Anti-Doping Agency.
Yeah, it's a WADA accredited lab, but it ain't VADA. It ain't the ones that's with the clean boxing program.
He missed with his national jurisdiction, and they have to pay $2,500.
Oh well, that might be it then. That might be it. He probably didn't feel like paying for that, knowing that he ain't fighting for no title. He ain't got no world rank. He ain't in the top 15, the top 10. So why would I be paying for that? And I'm still, and I got like what Yoka got, like 5 fights? He got like 5, 6 fights. He got like a handful of fights.
Yeah, he hasn't fought in a while. So that whole situation came about. It was after the Dave Allen fight. So I don't know what's going on.
He full of them drugs, man. He full of them drugs, bro.
But hey, let's move on.
Fuck around might be.
He might be, yeah. Especially if missing all them damn tests, man. Yeah, something ain't right. You suspect right there.
Yeah, that's suspect, man. Come on, man. Let Mayweather be like skipping tests and shit. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's just I never heard of a fighter getting tested. And he ain't even got fucking 10 fights. Like, I never heard of that. Like, bro, the dude got like 5 fights. Y'all testing him already? Goddamn.
This is in France. So France's Sporting Athletic Commission is totally different than anywhere else. So they have a different regulations over there. So again, I understand your point, Ring IQ, but again, if you're an athlete competing in their jurisdiction, no matter how, if you're a novice, whether you're immediate, whether you're an advanced pro, you got to be in their testing program under any circumstances. They don't care who you are or what time you compete. You got to be under that program.
No, I dig
So
it. Look. I respect it because at the end of the day, Tony Yoka is their Anthony Joshua. That's their gold medalist. That's their poster child. So
right.
they showing their quality over there. Like, look, man, we don't give a fuck about your gold medal. All right, you didn't get tested, so you can't fight, and it's that simple.
Yeah, exactly. And he ain't been fighting ever since. Dude. That's why I say it's suspect. Dude, it's like, dude, he ain't fought ever since that whole situation. And it's like, I don't know, man. He got to do something. He could fight elsewhere, but my question is, who's promoting him? Does he have a promoter
Right
out here?
now, Jay Prince got him. Jay Prince
Oh,
just signed him.
oh, that's right. Jay Prince on him. Okay, yeah. So he might be getting some.
He got Schaefer and he just signed with Jay Prince, so they co-promoting him. I think he gonna end up on PBC. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, because he's sparring with Wilder and those guys, so it looks like he is gonna be on PBC fighting. So, all
Man,
right.
I'm surprised Wilder spoiled him and he full of that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
Hey, but for
hey, don't pay attention to me, man. I'm just bullshitting, man. I'm bullshitting.
Nah, Phil serious. He's serious.
yeah, Phil serious, man. But
I mean, fuck around might be though. You can't rule it out, man. When Canelo Alvarez is testing hot for chimichangas and shit, you can't put it past nobody.
Yeah,
a lot of motherfuckers might be on something.
yeah, they are, man. Let me just be real, man. And a lot of people will call me crazy for saying this. I think everybody's on PEDs. I think Wilder's on some shit. I think AJ's on some shit. But it's just you're innocent until proven guilty, right? Until some point, sometime, one we're gonna get caught, and then we have it. You know, then we know that's conclusive, right
Not
there.
just boxing, Dan. I think it might be in other sports as well, bro.
Yeah, NBA. You know, what I mean, you know, it's funny. The NBA, yeah, the NBA players is probably on some shit. And let me tell you why. Because if you look at the NBA players from the past, right, up to the '90s or the '80s, whatever, you compare the size and physique of these dudes. I mean, back then those guys were smaller compared to these dudes to today,
Right.
man.
Even
like,
the big guys,
yeah,
even the big guys were small. They were just tall, skinny with broad shoulders.
Exactly.
Like
I mean,
now
LeBron
it's like
James,
everybody is
LeBron James is big as hell. Like, dude, if he was playing in that time, he would be a fucking center, dude. He'd be the middleman.
LeBron's bigger than most centers in the NBA. Right? He's
I know,
huge.
exactly. Yeah, he's huge, man. That's what I'm saying. Some of the dudes is on some type of shit in the NBA. Let's be real. They on it. And like I said, you got a point there. But, you know, you guys mentioned Wilder for a minute, but we got to talk about this. I know this came up yesterday, and there's a lot of mixed reviews on this, or mixed feelings, I should say, on Wilder and Ortiz rematch being made. But here's my take on it. McGregor and I talked about this yesterday. I think the fight should not happen right now. I don't have a problem with the rematch, but I do have a problem with it being done now. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, we got a great fight between these two last year. It would make more sense then if it was a media rematch. But now that Ortiz, given the fact that his last two fights, he didn't look too great, particularly in the Christian Hammer fight where he got banged up pretty badly. People are in plus, and then he came in, you know, plus he's overweight right now. He's totally in like a bad condition, if you think about it. So right now it's like, dude, I mean, I don't mind the rematch, but I'd rather wait later because I think there's more fights that need to be made that should supersede that. You know what I'm saying?
Let's put it. Let me say this. Even though I know there's politics in boxing, right? At the end of the day, there's no precedence to fight Ortiz 2 times and not have fought Dillian White once.
I agree.
Dillian White is ranked number 1. He's been ranked number 1 for 500 days. Give that man a shot.
Yeah, I gotta say this too. Well, I was gonna say that if Tyson Fury backed out of the fight, give him a shot. Then Dillian White should be named mandatory, rightfully so, because he agreed, you know, to the WBC's bidding to fight Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, you know, if he had backed out, okay, cool. But now Tyson Fury's not backing out, so now they're gonna fight, which is a good.
This is why I'm critical. Look,
yeah,
Stavern was supposed to fight Povetkin in a final eliminator. This is how Stavern became his mandatory for the rematch. He was supposed to fight Povetkin in a final eliminator. Stavern hadn't fought. Good night. Stavern hadn't fought anybody in 2 years. Povetkin ends up getting popped. Stavern gets the shot by default without a fight.
Oh yeah,
like, all right.
Trust me, I was very upset about that because first of all, you know what happened after that fight? The WBC ordered Stavern to fight Ortiz in the final eliminator. After that Povetkin, yeah, they ordered him to do it, and Stavern got pissed about that and said, "Oh hell no, I'm not fighting him." So he and Don King went over to the WBC, and the WBC rescinded their order. Why? Because Don King still has that relationship with the WBC. That's a non-lasting relationship. Go ahead, bro.
A lot of people forgot about that. Stavern said, "I got bigger fish to fry." Ortiz was waiting for that fight. He's like, and this before Wilder fought Ortiz. Like, I got bigger fish to fry. To make a long story short, if the WBC can make Stavern a mandatory by default without Stavern even having a fucking fight in 2 years, then why the fuck they dragging their feet for Dillian White to get a shot when he been number one for 500 fucking days? He been number one 500 fucking days.
Right. I agree, man. I agree.
Yo. So look. Let me jump in on this shit right quick,
All
man.
right. Go ahead.
So, you know, I like Luis Ortiz, right? He's one of my favorite heavyweights, okay? But look, let me put it to you like this right here. In regards to who Wilder fights next, you know, it's a whole slate of options he could fight besides Luis Ortiz. Now, in Luis Ortiz's defense, I would prefer to have seen him fight Anthony Joshua next if Anthony Joshua gets past Ruiz, which I'm assuming he does. But on the flip side, I think I agree with Ring that Wilder should probably fight either somebody like Dillian White, maybe Joseph Parker. Okay, yeah, somebody like that. You understand what I'm saying? And honestly, and y'all might think I'm crazy. I wouldn't mind them seeing Bust Big Baby Miller ass up too, just to be real. You know what I'm saying?
You know what the shit is? Miller's blackballed right now. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Touch him. I don't know who gonna touch him. I don't know who gonna pick him
up.
Hey,
let me tell you something. PBC, man, let me tell you something. That'd be so much, cause see, AJ's a good guy. He talked a little bit of shit, you know. But Wilder and Big Baby talking shit, man. Let me tell you something. That's gonna be pay-per-view within itself. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, I like to see him bust him up, man. Full of his PEDs and all that shit. Wilder knock his ass out.
Hey, you know what? That could happen though, because I know Ring said he's blackballed. He may have a point there, but you know Al Heyman, he loves to give fighters chances, so he might scoop up Big Baby Miller. In all
honesty,
anyone knows how long he's out?
I could see picking up
3 months.
That's the only person I could see picking him up, because Matchroom, all of that shit, that's done.
Oh yeah, that's a severe relationship. Matchroom may not bringing him back. Hearn is pissed. He's like, nah, I'm not bringing you back. Fuck that. You try to go in there and potentially hurt my number one star permanently. Nah, fuck all that.
I mean, you know, look, you gotta think about it, man. He fucked up a lot of paper, man. Not only trying to hurt somebody, because at the end of the day, these promoters don't really give a fuck about nobody, but you know, them dollars they gonna make. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So at the end of the day, he fucked up a lot of scratch. He cost them a lot of money, bro.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? And including he cost him a reputation. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So you know that's stuff that you can't get back. You understand?
But you know what? Yeah, that's the thing about it too, because there's some people, believe it or not, there are some people who are, you know, big Joshua supporters. Some people don't really like the Ruiz fight. They don't like it because they're not too familiar with them, which is cool. But me personally, I give Joshua the benefit of the doubt because Ruiz is a good fighter. Arguably, he beat Joseph Parker, and he's a formidable opponent.
Yeah, but you know what the shit about the Ruiz fight is, and I'm going to say it. I know motherfuckers probably wouldn't want to believe it coming from me, but Ruiz is dangerous. Ruiz is a short heavyweight that Joshua has to punch down to hit. Ruiz could slip the shot, end up mid-range to inside, and if he gets there, Joshua is in fucking trouble.
Yo, let's be real, man. That little flesh ball can move, man. You know what I'm saying?
He can't. And I would say this too, though. Yeah, I would say this too. Andy Ruiz has a speed advantage when it comes to hand speed against Anthony Joshua.
He does. He does.
He has that speed advantage, and that's the thing that could be a little scary for Joshua. Because if Joshua try to fight him up close, trying to throw those hooks, Andy Ruiz is going to counter him back with the 1-2 combination, or 1-2-3 combination.
But look, Dan, the question is, does he have enough power to hurt? Does Andy Ruiz, does he carry enough power to hurt?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, that little flesh ball. Hey, look, let me tell you something.
Listen to me.
Let me get it.
Parker gave
Go ahead.
Ruiz more respect than he gave Anthony Joshua. Watch the fight. Joseph Parker gave Andy Ruiz's punch more respect than he gave Anthony Joshua's. The kid can punch. That's what I'm telling. I know motherfuckers ain't gonna want to believe it coming from me. They're gonna think I'm trying to sell a fight.
Nah, blow, yo, ring. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, we've been talking about this fight in my job for quite some time, Bruh, Ruiz is, first of all, let me put it out there. He's a much better opponent than Big Baby Miller is. Okay,
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying? And the fact of the matter is, to me, he's fought better opposition than Big Baby Miller. Okay, so at the end of the day, people, you can underestimate this man all you want, but let me tell you something. I guarantee you, for one, he gonna come to fight. That's without a doubt. Okay. And guess what? He ain't got nothing to lose. That's the worst fucking kind of people to fight, man.
And bear in mind, it's a short notice opponent. The kind of opponent that surprises you. Them short notice opponents will fuck up your month. They will fuck up
Andy Ruiz. Yeah, and to be fair, Andy Ruiz look very, very motivated, man. He looks like he's ready. He's ready. And to me,
I'm telling you, he ain't got nothing to lose, man. Nothing to lose.
Like you ready for that Wendy's extra value meal? That's what he ready for.
You know what's funny about this? Eddie Hearn and Joshua's camp after the whole Miller situation ordeal, they didn't consider Andy Ruiz. He was never the option. Guess what happened? Andy Ruiz called them and said, "Hey, I'm available. I want the fight." He called them.
I think if they would have had more time to think about it, or if the situation wasn't so desperate, Andy wouldn't have got that fight, because any matchmaker worth his weight in nose hair is going to see a guy that Joshua has to punch down to hit.
Well, hold on. I disagree with you on that. I'm gonna tell you something.
Y'all said the same thing about Povetkin. Oh, he's
hold up. Yeah, hold on. Let me tell you something. I think Andy Ruiz was a strategic pick, because let's be honest, they could have picked anybody they wanted to at that point. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I think, in a sense, okay, although I think he's much more skilled than Big Baby, I think the fighting style, as in a come forward person that's going to take as many punches, that's going to slip as many punches as they need to get to his opponent to score, right? So I think, to me personally, I think they picked him because of the training methods that they're not weighing away too much from their previous training. I mean, it's pretty much, let's keep it going. We're gonna pick him. We don't have to change up too much.
That's a fair assessment. But what I'm gonna say is, I feel like what you're saying is sound. That Ruiz, he could punch, he could put together combinations, he's shorter than Joshua. They might have looked at it that way. But what I'm saying, underestimated the situation, because Ruiz got the hand speed that Jarrell don't got. And I dare say that I think, in my opinion, Ruiz has a bigger punch than Jarrell Miller got. Jarrell Miller got
about that one.
He got to punish you to get you out of there. Whereas Ruiz, go back, watch that Parker fight. Parker got a chin, but Parker ain't like them punches from Ruiz. Whereas with Joshua, he was actually trying to come forward. With Ruiz, he's being careful, like, damn, I don't want to get hit like that again. Let me think about this shit.
I just think Ruiz throws very good combinations, man. I think he's a good combination puncher, especially for somebody his size. Like, seriously. He's a good combination puncher, but I would probably think that Big Baby has the heavier punch, though.
Yeah.
The more impactful punch.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this question. I know some people may give me a little flack. Some people gave me a little flack for bringing this up, but I got to bring it up. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Joshua, this is just my opinion. We all can agree or disagree. I'm seeing something's not right here. I mean, it's either me or he's a little bit off. I mean, looking at his interviews his last 2 days and his media workout, it looks like something's not off. I know he's had some tough, grueling sparring sessions in Miami. You can see his face has been busted up. I know that's one thing, but something else is not right, man. I don't know what it is.
I'm going to tell you what's not right. I'm going to tell you.
What's up,
man? He mad.
You think he's mad? Probably.
Oh, yeah, I think he mad. Because
you think he's distracted too?
I think he getting treated a certain way by the American media. I noticed it in the Max Kellerman interview from a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And the Stephen A. interview. I think when he's here, you got to realize he's not in his comfort zone while he's here.
Right. Exactly.
In his comfort zone. All these people over here is not kissing his ass. Some don't.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, you're right.
Some of them is asking them stupid fucking questions like Stephen A. Stephen A. should not be talking about fucking boxing at all. Like, just don't talk about boxing. You asking stupid fucking questions. You clearly don't know what's going on. And if you Anthony Joshua and you used to be in the golden child, but now you over here, people acting funny with you, you're gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable. And at the same time, you got Wilder, all that shit going on. It's like, bro, like I done fucking came on your TV and call this man out. Y'all see what he doing? He about to fight this old ass man again. But y'all want to ask me the stupid fucking questions. Suck my dick, G.
So look, check this out though. So Ring, you know, I agree with you to pretty much a large extent of what you just said. You know, you got to understand this right here, man. And this is part of the reason why, you know, AJ didn't initially want to come to the States. You understand what I'm saying? But in order to build his portfolio, he knows this is some of the things that he has to do. But again, you know, like I tell, you know, my wife, just because I have to do it don't mean I like fucking doing it. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with that.
So the truth of the matter is, like you said, he's out of his comfort zone. He's coming from somewhere where everybody praises him. Okay, when the media asks him questions, they gear him in a direction to make him feel confident in answering them. You know, just the whole dynamic of U.S. sports in general. You know, we're not very friendly, you know, and we want answers and we want direct answers. We don't want no bullshit about, well, you know, I gotta
think about it like this. You watch it.
Hey, Ring, hold on, Ring, hold on. Ring, can you hold on for a second? Hey, take over me real quick and moderate. I'll be right back. All right, bro? Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead, finish up your point. Go ahead, finish up your point. Yeah, Ring.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But
I was gonna say, if you watch a Coogan Cash's video, or IFL video, they not really like, they ain't grilling him. They ain't asking him like hard questions. He come over here, motherfuckers asking him all kinds of stupid fucking questions.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you something. The realest question I heard somebody ask him was this right here. When they talked about how they wouldn't make the Wilder fight, okay? He started talking about all this money they offered Wilder and all this other kind of shit. And the interview, I don't remember who it was with. He said, "But look, let's be real. How much money were you going to get for the fight? Because if you're trying to give Wilder 12 million or 15 million and you're getting 45 million, then I mean, I wouldn't take the fight either, no matter how much the public clamor for it, because that's just a completely unfair situation." Anthony Joshua didn't want to answer the question. He ducked it, like I feel like he might be ducking Wilder right now. That's all I'm saying. I'm just keeping it real.
This what I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna get too into that because I'm tired of Wilder. I don't think he deserves the attention. At the end of the day, these are the facts. We all know how boxing works. All right. If I'm getting this and you be getting that, remember Wilder was asking for 50% before he even fought Tyson Fury. He was asking for 50%. Bruh, that's not happening right now. What you got to do is you got to raise your shit. If that's what you want, then you got to raise your shit to where you could ask for that. Because where you at right now, your highest purse is 2.1. I'm not giving you half, bro.
Yo, but hold up, though. I gotta disagree with you on that, bro. Let me tell you something. Your highest purse has nothing to do with your market value. It just doesn't. Your highest purse is just basically what you getting for fighting for whoever it is that you fighting for. Okay. Now, if you bring yourself into a different circumstance, a different dynamic, then whatever's far market value for that particular fight at that particular time, that's what you need to ask for.
That's what I'm gonna say. Let's just go off the numbers. Let's go off the numbers, right? At the time, the initial offer was 12.5, right? That was the first one they sent him. That was the flat fee. He didn't like that. We fast forward to a full year later. What are they saying he got for Brazil? What's the number? I'll tell you the number if you don't know it.
What did he get? I thought he got something like 10.
All right, bang. That's right. The ballpark figure for what Wilder got is approximately $10 million. So
I think I like 10.
Months later. Hold on. Let's get into it just based on facts, because I don't want to argue. I don't want to shout over anybody, nothing like that. If a full year later, it took you a year, it took you 12 months and a pay-per-view to get to what I offered you a year ago. Now, I'm not saying they should offer the man 2.1 million, something like that. I'm saying back then, that offer made sense at that time. Because if it took you a year to get close, you didn't even make what we offered you. If it took you a year to get close to what we offered you last year without me, then yeah, that's your market value, bro.
But hold up, time out though. Hold up. You're only as good as your dancing partner. If you got 10 against Brazil, I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest about this.
Let's
break that down. I mean, look, I don't completely. I got a different philosophy about what you just said because, you know, I mean, let's be honest about this right here. And this is something, matter of fact, Dan brought up just how Pacquiao increased his market value by holding out against Mayweather. So as it progressed, he fucking like doubled what they was trying to give him. You understand what I'm saying?
This is what I'm gonna say to that. It's obvious that as the fight, you know, as time passes, the fight grows. So the offers must also grow. You can't offer him today, right? What you offered him last year. Nah, the fight grew. So his profile grew. You got to offer him something better than that. The thing about it is, no matter what, it's not just your profile that's growing. It's also his. So it's always going to be a tit for tat situation. The real question is, why don't you see a other side to this fight? Why don't you see that?
I'm gonna tell you why, Ring. Listen to me real quick. So this is my whole deal right here. Okay, now when we talk about, because it's a lot of factors that go into this, right? We would all agree with that right there. It's just not about just A side, B side. It's about opponents and all this other kind of shit. Like, so it's a lot that goes into this right here. But let's be honest about this. I will say this right here. Initially, I think what they offer Wilder, I don't think it was a terrible offer. I think he probably could have got 15 the first time around. Okay. I was thinking somewhere around the $15 million range the first time around. Okay. Then whatever, they worked their way up to that. However the situation may be, this is the facts right here though. The longer they wait, the closer and closer that split is going to get. Okay, because Wilder, because you're right, they're both building their profile, but Anthony Joshua is not winning in the fashion that Wilder is winning in. He's not. He's just not.
I'm gonna give you a scenario. Let's say Usyk becomes the mandatory via the WBO, and that fight gets ordered, right? Let's say that happens. That fight ends up in the UK, not in America. Why? Because the Ukrainians is going to come out for that motherfucking fight. I guarantee it. They'll come out for that fucking fight in full force.
Well,
the same way they offer Vlad, they're going to come out for Usyk.
Well, you know what? Let me ask you something, Ring.
Usyk gonna get stopped, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something, Phil. Thanks for.
Yeah, they gonna watch. They all go come out and watch him get his ass whooped.
Hey, Ring. Thanks for covering for me for a minute, bro.
I'm not gonna break down the fight. I'm not gonna break down the fight because I think y'all counting Usyk out. I'm not gonna break.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count him out either. But thanks for covering me. Thanks for covering me, Ring. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, let me just say this though, about the Usyk and AJ fight. And so, you know, obviously that's probably going to happen down the fall after Usyk comes back from his injury. But don't you think that the Ukrainians is also in the in the Chicago area too? Because I know her and the Matches have hosted some fights here quite, you know, pretty often. So don't you think the Ukrainians could come out for that? Come out for that fight too over there?
Here's what I think. It's Ukrainians in America, no doubt about it. But what's boxing? Boxing, you're going to stage the fight where the fight is worth the most money. That's what you're going to do. That fight is worth more money in Europe, where them Ukrainians ain't got to take but a train and a couple of buses to get to the UK.
That's true.
Over here.
Yeah.
In the UK,
I agree with you on that. But
yeah, because here, if they try to have it here, they're gonna have it like at a high school gym or some shit. I go watch that shit.
No, they could have it in Chicago because the Ukraine, that's I think there's a Polish population over there too. But I think there's a significant Ukrainian population over in Chicago too. I believe.
I don't know, bro. Usyk ain't selling here.
Yeah. Why bring up Usyk? Because that's a major marquee fight that will further increase his marquee value based on what the fight generates.
Look, man. Let me tell you something. Like, and this is the problem that everybody's running into. Okay, everybody wants to talk about what it's gonna increase his value because look, let me tell you something. AJ making money over there in the UK. He got it sold up. Nobody's disputing that. Okay. But this is the deal right here. Just because you got it sold up over there, That don't mean shit about what's going on out here.
And
Okay.
this what I'm. This can I rebuttal that? Let me rebuttal that. Unless what's going on over here, is worth more cash money than what's going on over there, what's going on over here don't matter. Because it's about money.
Nah, you can't say that, Ring. You can't say
I
that.
don't know
Ring.
about that one, brother. I don't know about that.
You
Nah,
can't
Ring. I'm telling you, Ring.
You can't
That shit.
disregard America. You can't
Like,
disregard
I mean, but
American
hold up though.
boxing.
Let's be.
Hold on. Let's not talk over each other. Let me say this. Why you think Bob is letting Eddie orchestrate the Lomachenko Campbell fight in the UK? Why you think he letting him do that?
I think it's a trade-off if you think about it, because the last time they worked together, Lomachenko fought against Crawler here in the States.
Yeah,
so,
but that's because Crawler is not in the UK what Luke Campbell is in the UK. Luke Campbell is an Olympic gold medalist.
Well, that's true, but Crawler's... Wait, hold on. Let me rebut that real quickly.
Nah, hold on. I got to rebut after you, Dan.
Yeah, that's cool. Let me say that. Crawler, I mean, this is the way I see it. Crawler is actually a big known name in his area, in his backyard in the UK, or a certain part of it. So he can draw on where he's from. So they could somehow make the fight over there, but some reason they brought it over here. So to me, again, we all have a different opinion here. I think it's a bit of a trade-off since they're trying to have this closely working relationship, in my view.
And I'm gonna say this, Bob.
So let me hold on. Let me rebuttal. Hold on, Ring.
I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Simple question.
All right.
Is
Okay,
Bob
bro.
Arum known for generosity?
Not really. I mean, he did with Don King in the past.
Nah, I say Bob Arum will make the fight if he can make some money though.
Is he known for generosity or is he known for chasing money?
I think Bob chased the big fights. That's what Bob wants.
I mean, Bob gonna go get the paper when it's there. Period.
So if you see that Bob Arum, is allowing one of his star motherfucking ponies in the show go to the UK for a fight, why you really think he would do that?
Because
you think he's doing
to build his profile, the same reason why any fighter would.
Long was not a big American draw, bro.
Nah, look, to build a profile like any person would. But look, hold on. Let me hit my rebuttal real quick. My rebuttal. And I just thought about this right here. So check this out. So now I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, because earlier we were talking about marketability and growing profiles and shit, right? Let's be honest about this. AJ made like 17, 20 million against Klitschko, right? And pretty much every fight after that, he was anywhere between maybe 20 to 25, 24 million dollars. Okay. Now, his fight that he's about to have now, he's making 30-something million dollars. But financially speaking, he's not making any more money than he's already been making. Like, I mean, when you talk about somebody making 1.2 and then jumping up to, the pay-per-view with Tyson Fury, he got double, he got tens of millions of dollars. Then his fight against Brazil, which is not a big opponent, he got $10 million. So I mean, when you really think about it, Deontay Wilder is technically making the leaps and bounds and percentages on what he's making. Anthony Joshua was just making what he's making because that's his going rate. It's not because he's not gonna get the 50 million or the $40 million fight unless he fights Deontay Wilder. That's period.
I disagree.
I think Wilder gets a flag.
Wait, hold on. Let Ring get in. Let Ring get in. Steve, go ahead, Ring.
I disagree with that because look at what's going on right now. Right now, they're saying that the Brazil fight, it got Wilder 10. Now we gonna have to see what the Luis Ortiz rematch is gonna give him guaranteed. And what they're relying on the upside to pay for, because if it goes back. Hold on, wait.
No, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
If it's a similar split to the Tyson Fury split, where Wilder's only getting guaranteed 4 or 5, then you already know what's going on. That means they're relying on the fans to pay this man because they don't want to guarantee him that. Now, I'm not saying that's what they're gonna do. I'm saying we have to see. Because that's what's going to tell the story. If the guaranteed purse to Deontay Wilder is anything in the realm of 5 to 6 million, that's because they don't want to have to pay him 10 million on a regular basis. Otherwise, y'all would have been doing that fucking shit.
Ring. Just hold up, Ring.
Let me finish.
Let him finish up. Go ahead, Ring.
10 just now. You know why they gave him 10? Because these motherfuckers just offered him 20. We got to give him something to keep him on this side of the street.
That's true.
Motherfuckers just offered him 20 million.
But Ring, they hold up, time out. They go both ways. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Just because AJ getting 32 million to fight against Ruiz, Man, that don't mean they making money on that fight. They about to lose on this fight. They are going to lose. They are going to be losers. They're not going to make any money. Just because you offer somebody some money, it's all about profitability. Let me tell you something. If AJ again has another fight and they want to offer him another 30-something million and they take another loss, I'm telling you, that they gonna need to make a mega fight just to make up the shit they didn't lost.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
Hey,
What
everybody.
most people don't
Hey,
realize.
Joe. What's up, Joe? But go ahead, Ring. Finish up, man. I'm gonna get after you. Go ahead.
What most people don't realize is, to say they're going to take a loss, I vehemently disagree with that because this guy's fights, they get shown in 120 different countries. Each one of them different countries and different networks have to pay a flat fee. If we go off of what Showtime paid to show the fight, for example, the Klitschko fight, you're looking at about $1 million flat fee to show the fight. About $1 million. Not counting whatever countries have the zone in it, because obviously they're going to be the ones to show the fight. But the point is, it's more money coming into this shit than just what the zone got and just what Sky Sports got. They're getting flat fees from different networks around the world to show this man's fight. That's why so many people know him. You know what I mean? They know the motherfucking Thailand.
Well,
I didn't even know they watched.
Let me ask you this. What's the average flat fee amount? What's the average flat fee amount?
I would say it's about $1 million. Not
$1 million. How many countries are showing this fight? 120 is showing this fight? Okay.
120. That's the last I read. About 120 countries show this man's fights.
So who get the profits? The networks, or do the promoters get that share? Get that lion's share?
I would say that's got to be funneled to Matchroom and Sky Sports.
Okay, well, Sky Sports is definitely going to make their money because they're not really fronting up the highest production costs because it's not being held in the UK, so they're not worried about their situation. But the zone, as I'm gonna go to Phil's point here. Now, Phil, you are right about this, and I can say why the zone is doing this. Let's be honest, from the zone's perspective, they are going to take a loss on this fight, no question about it, because the high amount of persons they're paying for the fight and the viewership figures, I just don't see it getting higher than Canelo and Jacobs. I just don't see it. But I will say this, though. Who's that in the background doing that? Phil, that you, bro? You want to mute? Thanks, man. But let me just say this, though. I think the reason why the zone knows this is going to be a loss because from a strategic standpoint, to market a fighter who's kind of unknown to the American public, you're going to have to spend some dollars. You're going to have to take a loss. You're going to have to risk it. Take a loss. Let's see what the feedback is. Okay, we'll take a loss initially, but we can still have a chance to increase his profile right after that, because right there we can have enough time, enough resources from that standpoint to increase his profile. And then for the next time he fights here, then we can see either a loss narrow or we can see increase. We can get a net profit from his next fight after taking an initial loss for his first fight, after we work on building his profile after the first one. So yeah, there you go.
They gonna take a loss.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they will, but from a strategic standpoint, they know they're going to take a loss. But just to help build his profile to start off with, at least to get him over here, because Joshua is very expensive. He's a very expensive fighter, number one. And number two, why is he expensive? Because look at their undercard right now. Look what they got on their undercard. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that undercard is not looking good. And why?
Oh, it's weak. Just say it's weak, Dan.
I think that boils down. I think honest to God, I think that boils down to preference. I don't mind seeing Callum Smith fight because I know he's gonna knock somebody the fuck out. I want to see Katie Taylor fight. I'm a fan of women's boxing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would mention that. Katie Taylor versus that's a good fight.
I agree, Ring. I agree. I like watching Smith and I do like watching Katie Taylor as well.
Yeah, that's probably the only two interesting fights on the card, but everything else is kind of boo-boo. I mean, Joshua Ruiz is the main event, but obviously my point is the reason why they had to scale down the card the way they did is because obviously Joshua is very expensive. They can't pay these many fighters, this high amount of purses. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's another question. So are you a fan of boxing or are you a fan of just one fighter? Because if you're just a fan of Anthony Joshua, then you're okay with him basically eating everything on the plate and not leaving any scraps or anything left for the rest of the fighters. So if he's
but I'm gonna put it to you. I'm gonna put it to you another way.
In other words, if you're a real boxing fan, you want to see plenty good fights on the card, not just one. You're not trying to see.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
That's where opinion comes into it, though. For someone to tell me, looking at the undercard, that it's not a good undercard, that boils down to opinion because I've been waiting to see Katie Taylor fight Delphine Purcell for a long fucking time.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a good fight, no question about it.
But that's what I mean. If somebody told me that the card ain't good, Caleb Smith, he ain't fought since he fought fucking George Grove. So I wasn't even expecting to see him against a killer. But if he back in there and I get
Dom, I mean, all due respect, Hassan Dom is way over the hill right now. He's not even a natural middleweight, and he has been knocked out before. So I'm not saying
I don't mind. I don't mind seeing him get knocked the fuck out again. That's cool with me. That's cool with me.
So but look. I'm gonna be real with you, man. I'm gonna be real with you, right? On these DAZN cards, man. I'm gonna be 100%, and I've been a subscriber since day one.
Me too.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm probably on a scale from 1 to 100, man. I'm about maybe. Man, I'm giving them like maybe 55% satisfaction rate at this point. I haven't been just into these cards they've been putting up. I'm gonna tell you something. Their cards without the super duper main events where they can actually put really good fights on the card and they don't have to worry about paying somebody millions of dollars. That'd be their best cards. Any card that they have where they got a superstar on it or a mega star or just somebody that's a real big time headliner, those cards aren't good, man. The best cards I've seen when they just had like just good fighters on them.
And what I'm gonna say is I disagree with that because I look at the Pacquiao Broner undercard. I was disappointed.
Oh yeah, that was a bad undercard. That was a bad one. I agree with you on that one, Ray.
That's $75, bro. If you wanted to see that thing, you got to pay $75 fucking dollars. Right? we look at Fury versus Wilder, right? Gary Russell and Leo Santa Cruz was rumored to have supposed to fought on that card. That shit didn't happen. Now that would have been value for money if they would have had that fight on that card. Did they have it? No, they didn't.
No. That's Leo Santa Cruz was put on that bullshit though, man. But go ahead, bro. Leo was on that bullshit.
But you see, that's the point. I look at the price point. I look at what I stand to get. Then I look over at the zone and I'm like, hold on, I only got to pay $10. I may or may not get a great undercard, but it don't cost me that fucking much anyway. I look at these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers want to charge me $225 in the course of 3 months. They about to try it again with some more pay-per-views, and I'm thinking, yo, what the undercard look like, man? Because if this shit don't look right, I'm streaming like fucking salmon swimming up. I'm streaming. I'm not paying.
Well, to be fair, Rig, that you make there's a lot of good points on the side. Edge, I'm gonna get your point and get your input in a minute, but a lot of good points, man. I like this debate, this little conversation. But let me just say this: to be fair, the way the zone is operating right now, they're going to introduce a pay-per-view structure pretty soon. I'm not saying they're going to introduce it at a $75 rate like we're getting right now here in the States, but they're going to eventually introduce it one way or the other because they need to stay afloat, especially trying to pay these high purses of Canelo and Joshua. They're going to have to do it. I just want to throw that out.
Dan, let's really think about it though. Even if they would have said, "Hey, you got to pay an extra additional $5 to see Jacobs and Canelo," that would have been killer.
They made a lot of money. They did that,
and guess what? People pay an extra $5 for it. Let's be real about it. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? People would have gave up that $5 willingly, bro.
Well, that's
how I know they gonna do it, Dan. That's how I know they gonna do it.
But I think the problem is also too.
Let's characterize what's going on. PBC wants to charge me, you, Phil, everybody in the room. They want to charge us $75 to watch Mikey Garcia, who just looked like fucking dog shit against Andrew Spence. He looked like
showcase
dog. Like,
fight.
why you in here, bro? You landed 75 punches in a 12-round fight. What the fuck were you doing, right?
I don't know if he landed more than that, but go ahead, man. I don't know if he landed more than that.
$75 though, but $75 to see that guy.
I went to the fight, bro. It was a lot more than $75.
but you get my point. Then look, value for money.
If that's a good point.
Me that much to watch a fight.
Yo, but that undercard was good though, bro.
It was decent. That
undercard was straight.
It was decent.
Look, that undercard had the names on it. Now, look, let me tell you something. To me, that whole card had the names, but it didn't. The fight hype didn't live up to the potentials that they could have. But that undercard and that card in general had the names on there.
Yeah, but let me just say this though. Let me get Edge. I know Edge's been waiting for a while, but let me just say this, guys. Even though the undercard on the Joshua Ruiz fight looks bad on paper, other than the Katie Taylor and Perron fight, the unification bout, but may never know. It could surprise us. It could potentially be some damn good fights out of it. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. I just want to be fair now. You know what I'm saying? But Ed, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? Look, I mean, look, end of the day, the states, like how you guys pay for your products and states is down to you guys. But what from the UK's point of view, how I look at it is like this: you guys, like this is what PBC is charging $75 to fight for pay-per-views of Broner, Pacquiao, Furman, Pacquiao. Spence, and now they could do Mikey Garcia and thing that. So that's so. Those four fights work out to be $300 in total this year. That's even without the rest of what you're going to be paying for. So and then you've got DAZN, which is charging you $19.99, and then you're saying, and our people say the undercards ain't great, but think about it like this: this month, $19.99, you would have got Jacobs Canelo, Joshua versus Ruiz, and you would have got Devin Haney versus Moran, and plus the undercards for $19.99. Do you know what I mean? So it just comes down to value for money. So that's why I get a little bit confused as to why you would pay $300 for those fights when you could be paid $19.99.
Yo, look, hold on. So let me answer that, Dan. Hold on, let me answer that. I'm gonna be quick. With mine.
Okay, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, bro.
No, look, this is my deal right here, Edge. Guess what? You are absolutely 110% correct. I don't have a problem with the platform that DAZN uses. Okay, I am happy that I can pay $10 and get these fights. Okay, my whole thing about DAZN is how are they going to continue to fund this shit?
Thank you. That's my whole point. How could they continue to operate based on what's going on here? Because there's no indication they're making a profit here. There's no way they are. I just can't see it.
That leads to my next point. This financial year, they made a pre-tax profit of $336 million. The company.
Or here in the US? What about the US?
No, but that don't matter. That's the whole point. They're funneling monies from the other operations to fund the US operation. So
but how long can they go on with that, bro? How long can they continue that? Because they can't do that forever.
They can't, but that's what they've got a 10-year plan. They're looking to launch. They've got a 10-year plan, and they've got a plan of where they're launching. They're launching in the US. They're launched in Canada. They're launched in Brazil. They just launched in Spain, and they're going to launch. And they're about to launch in Australia. So they're looking to move DAZN all over the globe, all over Europe, and all over America and South America.
Well, what about the UK? Because they're not even considering you guys as territory. That's kind of fucked up. And the Perform Group is actually based there. What's going on with that?
Yeah, but don't be surprised if down the line they look to launch in the UK. I mean, you're not going to launch everywhere else other than the UK. But I think that they have to stabilize each territory first before they go. They don't want to come in everywhere all at once.
Right, that's true.
And can I add to what Edge Note is saying? Because you got to track the progress. When DAZN first debuted in this country, they didn't have Usyk. They didn't have Canelo. They didn't have all these motherfucking guys. A lot of people said that no good fighters are going to sign to DAZN. I remember that shit.
I remember that too, bro.
It was only a couple of months ago. They were saying, man, ain't nobody going to sign to that fucking, what is it, DAZN? Ain't nobody going to sign to that shit. But look at where we are now.
It said DAZN.
Canelo, my man Canelo is over there with the Clenbo stakes. Anthony Joshua's over there. Usyk is over there.
Anthony Joshua is not over there.
That happened when HBO decided to show a fight.
Let Rick finish. Go ahead, Rick. Finish up, brother.
A lot of people have the misconception that because Anthony Joshua does not have a signed, sealed, and delivered multi-fight commitment, that he's not over there. And that's not what's going on. What's going on is he's on a fight-by-fight basis, so that if at some point Showtime or ESPN says, hey, Anthony Joshua, here's $80 million to kick this motherfucking can. They left that door open, so if they offer him guaranteed cash, he can take it. But that don't mean he's not over there. He's very much over there. Up until you guys can guarantee me more money then DAZN can. Now y'all not gonna do that. Why? Because y'all still rely on the pay-per-view model. So you're not guaranteeing me money. You guaranteeing me upside. Fuck your upside. I don't want your hypothetical money. I want cash that I can put in the bank. I want guaranteed money. That's why Canelo is over there. That's why.
So they gave him a payment up front, basically.
Yeah. So nah, but hold on, time out. That's that's not necessarily true. That's not a payment up front because you still have contract obligations that you need to fulfill. Okay. Now, this is the deal right here. What I said, and I said this from the beginning, I said no PBC or Al Heyman fighter is going to go fight on DAZN. Period. They're just not going to do it. You understand what I'm saying? And they haven't done it. Okay. Now,
we can't say. Nah. Hold on. Let's be honest. It's already happening, and it's still happening.
Devin Haney.
It already happened, and it's still happening. Wow. R2 Better Beef was a PBC fighter. He went to DAZN, but then he went to Top Rank. Right now, what's going on is Gary Russell. What he doing? He gave Al Heyman an ultimatum, bro.
Wait, did
Leo? Or I'm getting the fuck out of here. You don't give me, and I don't blame him because
I hear you.
But see, hold up.
Let Rick finish. No, hold
on. I'm finna tell you. Hold on, no, because you gotta.
Well, let Rick finish. Let Rick. Go ahead, Rick. Finish up, bro.
Gary Russell wants to fight once a year. I think Gary Russell wants more than one payday a year. I think he wants more than that. And what he's seeing is they gonna feed Leo to Javante because Gary is 30, whereas Javante's in his young 20s and shit.
But see, that's the Achilles heel of PBC.
But that's what's going on, though.
But see, and this is I'm gonna let you finish. But the Achilles heel of PBC is a lot of their fighters. They don't see. This is what DAZN. This is the upside that DAZN that gives people. Okay, as long as you want to fight, they'll put you in the ring to fight. Now PBC, they can't do that. They don't have that kind of flexibility. Okay, so these fighters that you're mentioning, that you're talking about, is guys that want to be extremely active throughout the year. That's the thing that PBC can't offer. They're not necessarily their top guys, but they're guys that's a tier below their top guys, and then guys below that as well.
Right.
I'm gonna break it down for you like this, right? You got one thing right. If you want to be active, then PBC is not the way to go. Now you got fighters like Danny Garcia, right? Danny don't want to be active. You think Danny fucking Garcia wants to fight 2-3 times a year? Hell fucking no. He don't want to do that shit.
Yep.
Keith don't want to do that shit neither. They want to fight once, maybe twice a year. So fat and happy fighters like PBC, because they ain't got to work hard to get that payday. I mean, in all honesty, they don't got to fight 2-3, and they don't got to be stiff competition. They're going to get a payday for kicking a fucking can like Javante Davis. They're going to get a payday for kicking a fucking can. But if you a fighter that's an ambitious fighter, and I hate to put it that way because I don't like to talk about them in that context, but if you're a little bit more ambitious, then you're not going to want to be over there. How many big fights have they got for Leo Santa Cruz? They ain't put him in shit. You done fought Abner Mares 2 times. I didn't want to see the second fight.
He fought Carl Frampton twice. They put him in the Carl Frampton twice.
I give you that, but that was 2 years ago, bro.
Right.
2 years ago. Gary Russell been there the whole time. I like Gary Russell. Why Gary can't fight more often?
Hold on. I think that's a Gary Russell decision.
Yeah. I was going to say that. I think that's his decision because he came out and said himself that I don't plan to fight no more than once a year. He said that himself. So
I think that's Gary Russell.
Yeah, he kind of actually burned himself. He kind of burned himself when he said that because he said himself after he got that WBC belt from Johnny Gonzalez, he said, "You know what? Boxing is not." What's up, brother?
I seen that interview. It. But what I'm gonna say is, this sound like he was reciting to me. Everybody heard something different. To me, it sounded like he was repeating what he was told. That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Maybe, but he did shoot himself in the foot. It shot himself in the foot when he said that, and that's where it's like he's kind of been being put on the back burner because of those comments. So, but at the same time, he is trying to be active. He's trying to, show that everybody that he is a great champion. He wants the big fights now, and I think he should get the big fights because to me, if you look at Gary Russell's resume, out of all the champions, I know Wilder's. Well, you can't put Wilder because his resume got a little bit better, but as a champion, Gary Russell, in my opinion, has the weakest resume of all the champions out there. In my view, I'm just being real.
You're right.
Al Heyman orchestrates the situations based on importance. Okay,
Right.
he orchestrates the situations based on what is a priority. So even if Gary doesn't prioritize fighting more than once a year, even if he don't, that mean that Al Heyman don't got nothing big for you that he want to put you in. Al got the power to make the fight. So that mean if it ain't go down, it's because Al don't think it's a priority. Period. If Al wants you to be in a pay-per-view, then you're going to be in a fucking pay-per-view. If Al wants you to fight 2 times a year against so-and-so and so-and-so, that's what the fuck you going to do. Now, Gary Russell been fighting once a year for 4 years, going on 5. Going on 5 if he don't get the fuck away from over there. So that has to say that in 5 years, Al Heyman has not found nothing pertinent for you to do.
Yeah.
But hold on. Gary Russell right now, he trying to get the fight with Santa Cruz.
Well, that's what Ring said. That's exactly. That's what Ring said. He gave Al Heyman an ultimatum. You give me Santa Cruz, or I'm getting the fuck out. I'm going somewhere else where somebody will utilize my services a lot better.
Yo.
And like I said, dude, I praise Al Heyman, but at the same time, I have to criticize him. And this is one of the reasons I ridiculed him for this, because yes, you look after your fighters. You have to do what you have to do, just like no other promoter has ever done. He does look after them, great. But the thing, to me, in my opinion, the biggest mistake that Heyman has done for these fighters is that he fucking babied them. He fucking gave them too much than what they should have gotten, in my view. For example,
I agree with that.
Yeah, let me just once they get one significant fight under their belt, right? They get like a $2 million payday after that, right? Or $1 million pay, whatever the payday is. Then after that, you're feeding them these goddamn these lower tier oppositions, these tune-up fights after that, and they're getting paid double what they got their first fight. How are they gonna react after that? They'd be like, what the fuck? They'd be like, oh damn, okay, this is all I have to do? I get $3 million, I fight this guy here?
If
he's not even.
You know what, Dan? I think it depends on the fighter, because I don't think Sean Porter is doing that, man. I think Sean Porter's.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think at this point Deontay Wilder's doing that. You know what I'm saying? I can name a bunch of fighters that's not doing that. I don't think Jared Hurd. I don't think none of the Charlos are doing that. Like, I mean,
all right. Can we have that conversation? I'ma say, I don't think Jared Hurd is like that. I don't think Sean Porter is like that, but I do think the Charlos is like that. I think they
hold on, bro. Hold up.
Brother. Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead, Rick. Finish up, man.
I think they fell asleep at the wheel because they had a whole showcase, a whole fucking triple header based around them. Everybody knows that the PBC likes their Charlo brothers, or they did. I don't know what's going on now. I don't know what the fuck they gonna do for Jamal now. He's in a tough spot, but the PBC did give them preferential treatment over Jared Hurd. I don't feel they pushed Jared Hurd the way that they should have. They pushed the Charlo brothers more than they pushed him. They spent more time promoting them. They're not a promotion company, but whatever. The point is, you got fighters that you could see was fat and happy. They just, the world is your oyster right now. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of fighters like that at the PBC, but I wouldn't say that about Sean. Sean is still a hungry young fighter. I wouldn't, because he ain't had to take that Ugas fight. That's a bad fight to take.
Yeah, that was a dangerous fight for him to take.
But hold on. So time out. Hold on. Time out. So let me jump in on this, Ring. So you mean to tell me now? I won't say, because I know when Jamal made the jump to 160, it kind of screwed up how he fell in the rankings, and he's waiting on a title shot and all that other kind of shit. But Jamel. You mean to tell me Jamel is not fighting top level competition? You can't say that Jared Hurd is fighting top level competition and Jamel is not. They fighting all the same guys.
Let me say something, Ring. Can I say something, Ring? Before you get in, let me say this though. Jamel, I mean, Phil, I'm gonna have to slightly disagree on you this one, because no one thought Tony Harrison was gonna beat Jamel Charlo. Nobody thought Tony Harrison was gonna give him any type of level of competition. And after he lost to Harrison, that shot himself in the foot, because people are now upset because, wait a minute, you were supposed to beat that guy. Nobody rated Harrison that high.
Hold on, but time out though. Hold up, Dan. Hold up, Dan. But hold up. This is my deal right here. I would agree with you on this right here. If on the flip side, you're not saying we're gonna praise Jared Hurd. No way, Jose.
Can I say this?
No way, Jose. You can't praise one without praising the other. Their resume in the last few years are pretty much fucking identical.
That's true. But go ahead, Rick.
Let me say this. Jared Hurd took on the fight that neither one of them took. He took on the Lara fight.
There you go. Yeah, he did.
Neither one of them took that fight. I don't want to hear about, we got the same trainer, because you know what? Daniel Jacobs and Sergey Didivianchenko have the same fucking training and
Yeah.
still fought. So that's
Bruh,
not an
hold on.
excuse.
Time out.
That's
Time out.
not an
Time out.
excuse
Time out.
for
Time out.
Jamel and Jamal to not have fought Lara when they was champions in the same weight class for at least what 2-3 years or something like that. Y'all ain't fight this man yet. Jared Hurd comes along, beats the consensus. Lara was the consensus
Number
numero
one.
uno at
Yep.
154, and he beat him. So Jared Hurd deserves the praise.
But hold up, man. You talking about one fight, bro. And first of all, let me put it to you like this right here, okay? Jamal and Jamel never wanted to fight Lar, not because they were scared to lose, but because these dudes are like fucking family, okay?
That's
Like
look, that's great. That's great.
hold on. Listen to me. Hold on. I'm finna tell you. Hold on. I let you go. Let me ride. Let me ride on my shit. Hold on. I let you go. It's on me.
Finish up, Phil. Go ahead. Finish up, man. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so look, they never, it wasn't because, oh, I think this guy's gonna beat me. And okay, look, Jared Hurd gets all the praise for beating Lar, okay? But guess what though? Jared Hurd just lost to J-Rock and fucking Jamal destroyed that kid. Okay, so let's
not
hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay, finish up, Phil. Go ahead. Finish
So
up.
and this is the other thing right here. When Laura lost to Hurd, Jamel came out and said, you know what? He said, I'm not upset about that because God don't make mistakes. Because he didn't want me to fight Lar. Because he knew it was going to come to a point to where the buddy shit was going to have to stop and they was going to have to see one another. Okay? He said, God don't make mistakes. He didn't want me to fight Lar. Okay? Because it was a close fight and it could have went either way. But you know what? Hurd was victorious. And you know what? I want to fight Hurd. Period. I can't praise one without praising the other one, bro. I just can't do that.
Let me add this to it, okay? This is Jared Hurd's resume. He already beat Tony Harrison. He already beat him a while ago. He stopped Austin Trout. He ain't decision him. He stopped him, all right? And he beat Lara. And when he beat Lara, he was already a champion. He already won a belt. He unified a belt with Lara. That's better than anything either of the Charlo brothers did at 154.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Anything they did.
I have to agree. But see,
hold on. Look, this is the thing right here, Ring. I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is what the conversation was about. You're telling me, okay, this is what you're telling me. All right, we're talking about fighters being on PBC that's hungry and that's not fighting tomato cans. You can't sit here and tell me that Austin Trout is a tomato can, that Tony Harris is a tomato can, that fucking this is not tomato can fights, dude. They just not. I'm sorry.
And what I'm gonna say is whether or not the opposition is tomato cans is not the focal point. Is the fighter getting too comfortable? Is the fighter fat, happy, and spoiled to where their competitiveness is dissipating? And that's what I'm talking about. That the Charlo brothers got to that point because they was the ones that was being pushed. Jared Hurd wasn't the one.
Nah, bro, I gotta disagree with you, cuz especially about Jamal, especially 100% about Jamal. Cause now you're talking about whether fighters still hungry and wanting the fights. I mean, I don't see nothing different from Jared Hurd than I'm seeing from either one of the Cholo. I think all three of them are hungry fighters because they're all active fighters. They're not sitting back on their ass. And the Achilles heel of PBC entirely is fighters not being active enough. And the reason why I used those particular fighters was because Jamal's active, Jamel's active, Sean Porter's active, Jared Hurd's active. All these guys, Deontay Wilder's active. I mean, Manny Pacquiao is active. Fuck it. I mean, we can. Mikey Garcia's active. So I mean, it's all about perspective, brother. You understand what I'm saying?
Now let's look at this. Let's look at this because what we talking about is whether or not the fighter has been coddled too much to where his competitive edge is getting dull. I seen the Charlo brothers doing fashion spreads. That's what I saw.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. They just fly dudes, dog. That's just how they roll, bro. Like, I mean,
I'm not mad at them for dressing nice, but I have a rule of thumb. I never tell nobody. The second I see fighters doing fashion spreads, I get nervous because I see you trying to do other things. You got your mind on other things. You punch people in the face for a living. That's how you got here. You're doing fashion spreads. They building cars around you. The competition is a little soft. It's not Jamal's fault.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not his
what I was going.
fault.
Let me add to that point, Ring. Let me add to that point. To me, I'm old school. And Ring, you probably know this just as much as Phil do. I come from the old school. When I see guys, if you want that high dollar living, you want to make those high dollars, you got to fight the best competition, and that's what Don King did back in the day. Even though he was a fucking a scumbag in a way, but what the number one rule that he always had is that if you want to get paid these high amount of dollars, you got to take the fights that need to be taken so that the crowd can be pleased. You got to take the hard fights to get paid. That's
so
how
Dan. So Dan, let me ask you something. Hold on, let me ask Dan a question, because you may be able to sway me, right, by what you just said. Okay.
Right.
Now, based on what you just said, you tell me who in the division of 154 super welterweight, okay, that's stiff competition that either one of these guys hadn't fought outside of Lar.
Well, I'm gonna just have to be real. Jarrett Hurd is probably the only one.
Exactly. So you only as good as your opposition within your division. That's my point. Within the division, both Jarrett Hurd, okay, and to me, Jamel fought the best guys within their division outside of one another. And of course,
Erzani Lar had a better resume than those guys before Hurd fought him.
Yeah.
So let's be real. He's still, believe it or not, I know Lars on decline, but we can't exclude him in a way because he.
No, and I was just about to say outside of Lar, but that's a different conversation.
Let's say this. This is what I think Bob does that Al don't do. Bob will feed one guy to another, or let two guys kill each other, so that a star will come out of that, right?
Right.
I feel they took too long to make a Lara fight. They never made it for the Charlo brothers. And I feel they took too long to make a Hurd fight. That Julian Williams fight, that shouldn't even been that fight. That should have been a Charlo fight.
Well, to be fair, Charlo should have got past Tony Harrison. That's what kind of that made things unravel.
Nah. Look, let me tell you something.
When it was all orchestrated, remember, these things are thought up in advance before the fighters know about it, okay? The matchmakers, the people, they all sit down, they put this shit together. That if it's our intention to make a Charlo versus Hurd fight, it's time we orchestrate that event. They chose to put something ahead of that. The Wellborn fight, I understood. Like, all right, he has shoulder surgery. He got to have a tune-up. Cool, have the tune-up. But after that, we need that Charlo fight. Nah, y'all chose to delay it one fight more. You got him fighting fucking Harrison and him fighting fucking Julian Williams. You put them both in bad style matchups. I don't even think that's a coincidence. I honestly believe they were sabotaged.
Look. Let me give it to you straight. Let me give it to you straight. This is the realness about it right here. Okay. I called it, and Dan may or may not remember this, but I called it a long time ago. I said, hey, Jamel is going to lose before Jamal does. Okay.
Yeah, you did call that.
I called it a long time ago. Okay. When he fought against Tony Harris, I said, this is not a good fight for him. Again, when Hurd fought against J-Rock, I said, if J-Rock can last 12 rounds, he's going to beat Hurd. I guarantee you. Guess what? He lasted 12 rounds and he beat him. The fact of the matter is this division, and I told Dan this right here, this division is basically designed for matchups. And it just is. I think all these guys can beat one another. Nobody is world-class talent above the next guy. And that's just how that division is right now. So when we sitting here and we having this discussion about this round robin shit, well, he beat Lar, and then this person did this, and then this person did this. That doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I think they all gonna beat up on one another. I thought that Jamel was gonna lose to Harris, and I called the Hurd fight against J-Rock. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Put your promoter hat on for a second, right? The best fight that you can deliver for the fans that will get you a star out this weight class, because that's what 154 don't got. It don't got a star. And this is why I say Bob Arum does one thing that Al don't. And it's he's going to design a fight that's going to give him a star, somebody he could push. They should have had Charlo fight Hurd so that you would have got a unified, with 3 fucking world titles. That fight would have got a lot of attention, because look at how much attention the Charlo brothers got on their doubleheader on Fox. 2 million fucking people tuned in to see that shit. How many more millions of people wouldn't have tuned in if it was Jarrett Hurd instead of fucking Tony Harrison? It would have been more than that. You would have got a star. Instead, what you got was a fucking upset, an ignominious upset that now we got to correct. Like, all right,
Yeah,
y'all
you
got
know
to
what?
fight again. Y'all got to
Yeah,
fight again.
you know what? To your point, Ring, I gotta say this though. This is what happens when you try to go with the scheme of letting the fights marinate. Let it marinate so you can build more interest. Because because in this situation, it's not like it's never been done before. It's done in the past, believe it or not. But the thing is, there's always a potential danger to that because the longer you wait for big fights to happen, things like this happen. Look what happened at 154. And what happened at 154 could possibly happen at heavyweight right now. That's why I'm very
Oh
scared of.
yeah, oh yeah,
It can
yeah.
possibly
I
happen
entertain
right now.
that. I
Yeah.
And
entertain
that
that
leads
possibility.
to the point of letting things marinate. The reasons why the fights marinate is because there's not enough demand from the public to make the big fights happen. And
Well,
this
there
is
is now. There's that Wilder Joshua.
Look,
But go ahead.
look,
no, but
Edge. I
that's not
gotta
it's not.
disagree with you for the simple
It's not.
fact that the
What?
demand is there. I think the fighters and the promoters are greedy. The demand is there.
Yeah, that's
No,
Bingo,
true.
bingo,
I don't believe
bingo.
that's the case because
It
when,
is the
for
case. But
example,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't
I'm
believe
sorry. Go
that's
ahead, Fish. Go ahead.
the reason why I don't believe that's the case is because, for example, if you go to like the Charlo versus Hurd, the reasons why that fight was going to be delayed for the second half of the year is because there wasn't enough demand. So they wanted to put it on Fox, showcase the Charlos in a one-off event, so then it builds the hype for the later on in the year. Now, if you go to the heavyweight division, I don't want to go too much into detail because there's moving parts, but the main point is that when Luis Ortiz announced that, when Wilder announced that the Luis Ortiz, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's a good fight. No, that's not too bad," and there's not a lot of outrage in regards to those saying, "Oh, that's a good fight. I don't mind watching that." So it wasn't like, you know what I mean? When people actually said, "You know what? I don't want Wilder to fight nobody else. I'm not happy. It might be decent, but I don't want it. And if I don't want Anthony Joshua to fight nobody else, I want only one Wilder." When there's consensus from every single person that this is the fight that we want, then the fight will get made. But as long as there's no consensus, there's no demand, then the fights will get delayed and delayed and delayed. And that's what happened. And it's the same thing what happened to Stevenson and Kovalev. Exactly the same thing. We look, us, we're in a bubble. We're in a bubble.
I don't agree with that because Stevenson Kovalev definitely had a lot of momentum. People wanted that fight.
I
It was
don't
just
think.
let me just explain what happened. The networks wanted that fight. Well, HBO wanted that fight. It showed the Showtime. Of course, there was a bidding war at that point. But what happened in that situation is that when Stevenson jumped ship over to Showtime, which ducked Kovalev out of that 3-fight deal in low place. I wish T was here. He don't like to admit that shit. He gets mad when I keep bringing that up. But anyhow, when he did that, I know he's probably listening. But when Stevenson did that shit, right? He went over to Showtime Al Heyman. Why? Because that's bigger financial backing. They can protect him just in case of a purse bid for a major if a fight has to go down. But anyway, Kathy Duva called the WBC. She put in a request to have Kovalev be mandated or fight for the WBC title by fighting in their to be ranked basically. So the WBC granted her blessing. Kovalev fought a couple of title eliminators and then he got himself into a mandatory position. So in that situation, Kathy Duva knew she was going to go into a purse bid for that fight because she under any circumstances did not want to go Showtime if for Kovalev to fight there. She didn't want to do that, but she thought that, you know what, I think Stevenson's going to vacate that belt and we'll just fight for the vacant title. Now, when Stevenson did vacate, that's when her ass bailed out of the fucking purse bid, and people were pissed off at her for doing that because people wanted that fight. They were hoping they thought that, yes, Kovalev's ranked in the WBC. Now Stevenson has no choice but to fight Kovalev. But it turns out Kovalev and his team pulled out because they wanted Stevenson to vacate, only because they didn't want to go to Showtime. And people were so outraged about that. It's like, what the fuck? We want that unification, but we're waiting for that, and yet this happens? What the
Yeah,
fuck, Kathy?
but look, but this is what I'm saying. The people, as in us, the hardcore fans in and around the bubble, are hardcore. But the general public that doesn't care. Like
Yes, they do. In Canada, the way, hold on, let me say something. In Canada, Stevenson is known there. The Canadians wanted that fight. They
but they still came out. They still came out in droves to watch him fight.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Let me just tell you why.
Can I say something? Let me say this. I want to compare something to y'all. If Lomachenko, right? Let's say Lomachenko was with the PBC. And let's say Jose Pedraza was with the PBC. We wouldn't have got that fucking fight, man. We wouldn't have got that fight.
Yeah.
They would have tried to build that shit up into a mega fight. And the time is building up. One of these motherfuckers is gonna lose.
I agree. This was going to happen.
What happened. That's what happened with Jared Hurd and Jamal Charles. Like, stop building it up. You need a star. There are no stars at 154. You got to make one. So let them fight. And who wins, that's going to be your star. Bob does that shit all the motherfucking time. He does it all the time. He's about to do it at 175. Ain't no stars at 175. They got to fight for you to get a star. You could say Kovalev, but Kovalev ain't what he used to be. So,
Right.
I mean, keep it a bean. He ain't what he used to be. Bob does that shit all the time. PBC's problem is they apply the Mayweather formula to where, hey, let's build it up. Let's build it up. And you end up fucking up fights. Fights that don't need to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Ain't no reason for Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell to not have fought. Like, man, they should have fucking fought already, man. Already.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the point, the Mayweather effect, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. And that is that's the problem, because Mayweather is a unique situation, and that's a unique situation that's not really, that should not be used as a blueprint for the current today's boxers.
Well, yeah, especially at heavyweight too, because this is where Barry Hearn is the one who's incorporating this whole situation with the Wilder Joshua thing, because he's the one who suggested it to Shelly Finkel. Let's do the Mayweather blueprint. Let's follow that model and build the fight. That's what he said. And I'm like, oh no, man, seriously?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you. Barry Hearn said, like, because he did that in the past with Chris Eubank, senior. Like, this is what I'm saying to you. In the past, Barry Hearn was like, he was very bad in regards to not trying to make the fights that the people wanted, but he admitted it. He said the difference now than it was then is that we don't have the control. The fighters have the control.
Right.
The fighters are our bosses. So if the fighters say, look, we want this fight, this is the fight that we want to make, he might say, look, let's let it marinate, but the guy wants to fight now. So that's the difference between them.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that, because he told Joshua, and he told Joshua, he's like, okay, because this is what he said. He had a conversation with him. He was like, AJ went to Barry Hearn. He asked his advice. Hey, should I take the Wilder fight now? Because they offered me a lot of money. I actually want to take it. And Barry told him, was like, well, if you're planning to retire now, take the fight. But if you're not planning to retire now and want to continue your career, don't take it.
Can I say this? Overstating. I think you're overstating Barry Hearn's role in Anthony Joshua's career. Barry is not the one that's necessarily orchestrating situations. Eddie is. Barry is there more as an advisor because he has all that experience and all that shit. Barry been around the block 100 motherfucking times. But Barry is not controlling Anthony Joshua's career. You understand?
Yeah.
He is the boss. If you want to give Dillian White, say, all right, I'll give you 10 million, Dillian White. That's Joshua's decision. That's his decision. That's not Eddie's decision. Eddie might not like some shit that Anthony Joshua might decide to do, but you know what? Eddie is working for Joshua, not the other way around. That's the difference. That's the difference, bro.
Well, I agree to disagree, because here's the thing. If Barry Hearn said those words and Joshua's actually taking heed to that advice, he may carry some water, whether he may not have full control or not. Because he still owns Matchroom. That's still his company, even though he doesn't really control the boxing portion of it as he used to. He still oversees it. He still kind of makes the final decisions on what goes on and what not goes on.
That's not true, because they interviewed Barry and they interviewed Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn said he runs the boxing operations.
But who makes the final decision? Does he still do the filters though?
Yeah, no, Eddie Hearn runs it.
He runs it, but who filters it though? Barry still filters it though, doesn't he?
No, it's not. It's like any other organization, any other company. You have a company, you have a main company, Matchroom Boxing, and then you have a subsidiary, which is the boxing side, the gymnastics side, the snooker side, the darts side, and then you have somebody who runs all of it. He will report. He will do a monthly report or a yearly report, whatever, saying this is how much we've made. This is what we're going to do for 2020. This is what we've planned, and then he will say, okay, that's cool or not cool. Or if he's lost money, then he'll report and say, but that's the same with any other organization or business.
Yeah, it's
he
like
can't afford
Barry. Think of Barry as Oscar De La Coca. Think of Barry as Oscar De La
Coca.
Yeah, Oscar De La Coca did not want Canelo to fight Lara. He didn't want that fucking shit. But it happened because Canelo wanted it to happen. And who's the one that's really the one running shit? It's actually Eric Gomez. Oscar, it's his shit, But he not the one that's making all the calls and doing all the shit. Hell, motherfucking nah. That's Eric Gomez doing that shit. But at the end of the day, if Canelo Alvarez says, look, man, I want to fight the fucking Cuban guy. I want to fight that guy. They can't stop him. And it's the same shit with Barry. Barry, yeah, you got your shit. This your shit. But you're not the one that's making all these phone calls, and you not, in particular to this fighter, you're not the one that's delegating them situations for him. Eddie is doing that.
And the
I
same
get
thing with
that.
Floyd
I get
Mayweather.
that.
The same thing with Floyd Mayweather when he fought Ricky
Yeah.
Hatton. They didn't want him to fight Ricky Hatton. No one didn't want him to fight Ricky Hatton. But then what happened was Ricky Hatton, I think he beat Collazo or he beat somebody. And then
Yeah, he beat
Castillo,
Collazo, then he beat no, he beat Castillo before he beat Collazo, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I think, and then after that, he said something about Floyd Mayweather, and then Floyd Mayweather went, "Fuck it,
Well, I heard the other way around because Hatton's team didn't want him to go near Mayweather, and Hatton's like, "No, fuck that, I want to fight him." So Hatton I think he broke away from his management because they didn't want him to go his initial management at the time when he was fighting in Manchester, and he broke away. He broke away from them after he broke away from them. That's why he flew over to the States and fought Hatton. Fought on Collazo, and he fought 3 fights up to the Mayweather fight. After the Castillo fight, as you just said. So I just wanted to throw that out.
What happened was he didn't want to fight Junior Witter because everyone in the UK wanted to
I
fight
remember
Junior
that.
Witter,
Yeah.
and that was the fight that everyone wanted. But he didn't want him and his team didn't want to fight Junior Witter because they thought if he fought Junior Witter and lost, he can't get the Mayweather fight. So they said, okay, we're gonna go to the States and fight. They go to the States, build their name in there. And then they're gonna call out Mayweather. But Mayweather didn't want to fight Ricky Hatton because he was like, "Who the fuck is me, Ricky Hatton? I'm not fighting this fucking dude." And the team didn't want to. And the team didn't want him to fight Ricky Hatton. But then what happened was Ricky Hatton said something. I don't know. I forgot what he said. It was a long time ago. But he said something to him, and then Mayweather said, "Fuck it, make it happen. I want this fight.
Now
Make it
look
happen."
at what
And
happened.
it happened.
Now I'm gonna pose this to y'all. Look at what happened with the Luis Ortiz shit, right? Look at what happened with that shit. It was not ideal for Anthony Joshua to go from trying to fight an orthodox fighter in Jarrell Miller to substituting that fighter with a fucking southpaw. But that's what Anthony Joshua wanted. Eddie didn't want that shit, and Joshua's trainer didn't want that shit. He said it was never ideal to try to fight a southpaw when we've been getting ready to fight an orthodox fighter. Nevertheless, because Joshua wanted it, an offer was made to Luis Ortiz. And we know it ain't just smoke screens because Luis Ortiz's manager acknowledged receiving an offer and acknowledged dropping the ball. So we know it ain't just talk for IFL TV. We know they got a fucking offer. They said they sent an offer. They said they got a fucking offer. And it's because that's what Joshua wanted. As soon as the Jarrell Miller shit happened, give me anybody. Get me Luis Ortiz. Bang, Luis Ortiz gets an offer. Eddie might not like it. Barry might not like it. Fucking Joshua's trainer might not like it. But Joshua wanted Ortiz, so Ortiz got an offer. Bottom line, it's not like they controlling Joshua and telling him, nah, you gotta fight some. Nah, he's running his own shit. Just not just like, but Dillian White, for example, is yet another example. He has full creative control of his career. He's not locked down to a multi-fight commitment.
Well, I can say at least Dillian White is his own boss because he's not. He's on a fight-by-fight basis, so he could pretty much has leeway to do what the hell he wants technically. So, but go ahead.
This is a different era of boxing, and what I think is going on is that PBC fighters in particular, I don't know that they have that control. I don't know that they have.
I don't believe they do. I think they actually have to do the bidding of Al Heyman according to their contracts they sign. So I don't believe it.
Eddie Hearn thanked Al Heyman, and it's a video up where he said, "I thank Al Heyman for allowing Andy Ruiz to have this fight." And I thought to myself, well, hold the fuck up. Are you his promoter? Why the fuck is Eddie Hearn thanking you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Yeah, but
I don't know if he is a promoter because you have to understand, according to the clause, I think there's a little clause in that managerial contract that he sends to these fighters, is that any move that you make has to be on the consent or approval of your manager. So I think that's what he meant by that. But go ahead.
But that's the difference between the UK and the United States. With the United States, but it's funny because I find it strange because in some laws in the United States, you guys have, but you don't have it. Like, for example, if you're a broker and somebody sends you an offer, by law, you have to tell your client what the offer is. But if you're working as a manager or as a promoter, if someone sends you an offer, you don't have to tell your client what the offer is. You have full control whether
Actually,
to
you do have
accept
to
or
do
not.
that. You know, by law here, you do have to tell your client what the offer is because nothing is concrete unless your client signs his or her signature on it.
Yeah,
So
but
the
then,
legal,
that's what I would assume. But Gervonta Davis wasn't told what the offers was when Eddie Hearn put an official offer
No,
through.
exactly. No, he was not. No, he was not told. And I'm gonna
So
say this.
He
Mayweather,
wasn't told.
Team Mayweather has been signing contracts on his behalf. Is that what you guys are saying?
Oh yeah, that's oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
you know, it's funny
And
though because didn't Eddie Hearn say that about Joshua though? Because he did say that one time that I signed things on behalf of Joshua. He doesn't sign.
This is what he said. This is what he said about Joshua. When they said I'm gonna send Wilder a contract with Joshua's signature, what was sent was a contract that had the Matchroom stamp on it.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about. That's not the same thing as information being deprived from you. You got the Muhammad Ali Act, right? All that shit. On paper, it protects you from it. But in the offices where the phone calls is happening, who exactly is overseeing that you made sure to tell a motherfucker, yo, you know, they just called here, they offered like $10 million for you to fight. Ain't nobody overseeing that shit because they know that's how fragmented boxing is. That, they could have.
Well, you know, that is true because there are loopholes because I saw this. I remember this too when many years ago when Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran rematch got made at welterweight. That fight got made without Duran's consent at all.
Exactly.
And Duran was pissed about that. He was like, what the hell? Dude, he blows up in way after fight. And Leonard knew this shit. That's why he wanted that rematch immediately at a shorter time span. And they did the deal without his consent. And then when his manager found out, I think his promoter at the time made the deal. His trainer didn't even know about it. His trainer was livid. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Now look at what happened with Luis Ortiz. Look at I'm gonna just finish my point.
Yeah.
Look at what happened with Luis Ortiz. The trainer said the money was good. The fighter said the money was good, but apparently the promoter didn't think the money was good. And what did the trainer say? He said he's mad that they didn't consult him more on the offer because Ortiz would have took it. So that lets you know right then and there that even though it's an act in place, it's not foolproof. Motherfucker get an offer and be like, man, fuck y'all, that's a low ball. Fighter don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, it's true because also Pulev. This is the whole situation with Pulev and Joshua at one time. Pulev, when he was with the Sarlos at one point, and they were trying to make the deal for him to fight Joshua 2 years ago. Pulev went on Facebook and he said, "Wait a minute, they're making deals without my consent. No, that's not how it works here. No, they don't do that without my consent. First of all, if I want to fight, I will go for it. They didn't go through me, so we're gonna have to talk about this." So,
and also as well, Demetrius Andrade had an issue with the Charlos. They said he was supposed to fight the Charlos, and then it was all agreed, but then he pulled out because he realized that they negotiate the money that he wasn't happy with the money. They didn't and consult him in regards to the money that he was going to get paid, and he found out the money that eventually when the fight was made, he found out the money was going to get paid. He pissed off. He pulled out. And he tried to buy out his contract, and that's why he tried to buy himself out of his contract in that situation. So this is the problem that you have when you have boxers that are not getting consulted on how much money that's getting made.
So the whole point is not just happening here in the States; it's happening everywhere. Especially when I brought up about the Pulev situation with the Sarlins. Because
but I would say it is more in high abundance. I would say it is more in high abundance in the States because look, in the UK they got the British Board of Boxing Control, right? Overseeing things. It's a British Board of Boxing Control. We don't have an entity like that here. It's state to state. And the law here in this state might not be the law over there in that state. And you can eat tacos in this state, but you can't eat fucking chimichangas in that. It's fragmented.
It is very fragmented. It's very fragmented. I totally agree with it. But I just think that, I'm not trying to be harsh here. I just don't think that the United States should be singled out here because my point is it happens everywhere. Everywhere.
No, we're talking about the United States and the UK because obviously that's where all the boxing is happening. That's why we're talking about it.
I was just saying, but the whole point is my whole point is it just doesn't happen here. It happens everywhere else.
If we go on a long enough timeline, what we're going to find, if we go on a long enough timeline, is that it happens everywhere. But if we go off of recent events, it is happening in the States. I don't even think Danny Garcia. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to bring up because Danny Garcia don't want to fight Terrence Crawford. What the fuck am I saying?
Nah, that ain't gonna happen.
Why the fuck would he fight Terrence Crawford when he could fight Mikey Garcia on pay-per-view for a couple $1 million? He don't want to.
Yeah, plus upside. That's what I
mean about fat and happy fighters. Danny Garcia is not at a point in his career where he want to be the best. He like his situation. He get a couple mil whenever he have a fight. He probably got a couple mil for Granados, even though Granados was tailor-made for him.
Exactly. Overpaid for a guy like that. I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
He got 1.2 for Granados.
But think about that though. 1.2 million for a tailor-made opponent. I'm gonna give you an example.
Yo, hold up. In Danny Garcia's defense, though, he does have major viewership when he fights, though. Just putting it out there.
Look, I'm not taking that away from him. What I'm saying, look, I'm gonna give you an example. When the later Alvarez still had the WBO title via his contract, he was guaranteed $1 million for being a world champion per fight, a minimum of $1 million.
Right.
After he lost the title to Kovalev, his contract got renegotiated. Like, nah, no more $1 million paydays for you. You're not a champion. The fuck? You gotta get that belt to get that payday. But if I don't gotta get that belt to get $1 million, well, I'm a fat and happy fighter. And ain't Danny Garcia sitting here getting $1 million paydays? He ain't even got a fucking belt.
Hold up, time out though. Hold up. Time out. That's no different than Daniel Jacobs was getting $1 million paydays, and he didn't have no fucking belt.
That's true. That is true.
That's a fair point. I'm gonna give you Danny, but what's the difference between Danny and Danny? Since we talking about Danny and Danny, you can't doubt Daniel Jacobs' hunger, man. That's I'm
a. I
don't think it.
Hold up. No, he asked me a legit question. All right, go ahead. I can tell you the difference. Multiple weight champion. I mean, what are you saying?
So hold on. So let me
jump in here. Hold on. Ring.
Garcia, you think that Danny Garcia is still competitive? You think he want that Spence fight?
Well, let me jump in here real quickly. Let me just say this. I think in all fairness to Phil's point is that maybe Danny Jacobs got overpaid to fight an overmatched opposition, just like Danny is doing.
I'm gonna tell you something. Danny Jacobs' opposition was a lot worse. Period.
Yeah, it was.
Nah, I can't. Daniel Jacobs, the difference between the fighters that Daniel Jacobs and other people fought is they're good fighters. They're just not known.
Nah, bro. I can't give you that, bro. I can't give you that. Ring. I can't give you that, Ring.
Delivianchenko, Suliecki, those is not easy opponents.
Ring. Hold up, man. You talking about Danny Garcia. Hold up. Run down Danny Garcia last 4 fights.
Granados, Sean Porter. But you got
hold up, Sean Porter. Hold up. Keith Thurman. Bam Rios. Dude, them is not terrible fights.
Hold on, wait a minute. All right, let me elaborate. One, Danny Garcia don't fight that often, so don't put him on the same schedule as Daniel Jacobs when Daniel Jacobs was fighting often. Danny was not.
What you mean? Danny Garcia been fighting 2 times a year.
Often. He wasn't fighting often. After he lost the Thurman fight, didn't he take a year hiatus?
Yeah, he did take a year off.
All right, and after that year, who he fought?
He's been active.
He's been extremely active, actually.
Not extreme. No, I wouldn't say extremely.
He's been. Hold up, time out. Let's be honest about this, and I'm gonna need everybody to agree with this. If you fight 3 times a year, you damn near a unicorn. Cause let's be real. Come
on. Hold on. We about to pull up his activity right now because I know I'm not wrong on this. Danny
fights twice a year. He fights twice a year.
Often he's ever been.
Yeah, he fights twice a year. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't fight. He only fights 2 times a year though. But I just wanted to throw that out there. EJ.
Let's see.
What are you comparing?
Why you doing out here? What's up, EJ?
All right, now let's see. Now in 2017, he fought.
I'm good, man. I'm just listening in, bro.
2017, he fought once.
Yeah.
2018, he fought twice. So far in 2019, he's fought once. But what you gotta notice,
and he's gonna fight again this year.
Hold on. Let me finish my point. You going from having a tailor-made opponent in Adrian Granados, you got $1 million for that, right?
Oh my God!
Now you going to fight hold on.
All right, go ahead, Ray. Finish up.
Now you going to Mikey Garcia off a loss at 147, where he ain't done shit, and you about to get what? Another multi-million-dollar payday.
But bring all fairness though. Wait, hold up. Can I say something? All fairness, though. All fairness. Compare Danny Jacobs to when he fought Selecki to Danny Garcia fight Mikey Garcia. Who would be the better opponent at that situation?
Selecki.
All right. You give are you giving Danny credit for losing fights? Because that's what
Absolutely, I do. I give him credit for that.
I'm gonna put
Yo,
it
hold
to
on,
you like this.
hold on.
I'm put it
Ring,
to you like this.
you can't criticize a fight. You can't criticize a fighter for fighting some of the best opposition in his division and losing.
Brandon Rios is some of the best opposition.
Nah, he ain't that. Yeah, Brandon Rios, I don't count that
Hold
one.
on. I'm not.
All right.
I'm not. Hold on.
Let's do it because y'all just looking at that he fought Sean and he fought Keith, but there was a year's time frame, over a year.
Hold on. Hold up, man. Hold up. He fought Sean. He fought Keith, and guess what? You can say what you want. Adrian Granados ain't no fucking pushover, dude. He's gonna always
Jacobs fought Golovkin. Why are you leaving that out?
Well, he lost that fight. Yeah, let me just be fair though. But the whole argument is that why these guys are getting overpaid, fight mismatched opposition or opposition people don't care about.
Listen, I'm not mad. I'm not mad that I think that's the misconception. I think y'all think I'm mad that he's getting that money. When I'm saying because he's getting that money for fighting them kind of guys, it puts him in a place to where he's not as ambitious. He don't want to fight Errol Spence.
Can I say something? But you can't.
Hold on.
Don't want to fight Errol Spence.
Hold on, man. Let them finish their debate.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna pose this
Phil, hold up. Let Ring finish. Go ahead, Ring. Finish up.
I'm gonna pose this question to everybody in the room. Do y'all think he want to fight Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford?
No.
No. Go ahead, Phil.
Why?
No.
I just think that Danny does not want to risk his health in this situation because those are two dangerous fights right there. It'll
be career suicide to take two more losses.
Yeah, it's career suicide.
This is what I'm gonna say now. To his point, which is part of my point. Danny Garcia is in a place right now where he can fight tailor-made opponents that have made the order for him and get $1 million payday. So he's not gonna be as ambitious because he ain't gotta get that M the same way that somebody somewhere else got to get that M. Somebody somewhere else might have to get a belt before they can get that M.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. He got the M because of the simple fact. It's not, look, this is the deal right here, okay? You're going to get the M based on, of course, where you've come from and, of course, where you're going with your career, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, he's getting the M because he's built up that status to get the M, period.
Yeah, let me say that, Phil. Can I say something real quickly? Let's be fair to Danny, though, because he's had a very tough career to begin with, all right? Look at the opposition he fought coming up. He's fought Nate Campbell. He fought Kendall Holton at his best. Eric Morales, I know that's an ancient, prehistoric Eric Morales. Okay, we don't have to count that. Amir Khan at his best. Lucas Matisse, by the way, he was an underdog in that fight. He was going in as a champion, all right? Zab Judah, who was pretty much someone on his last leg, I guess. But those are pretty tough guys in there that he fought.
And you're not getting me. I'm not disparaging Danny's resume. I was one of the few guys that ranked Danny very high.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. What am I saying is, don't you think he kind of don't you think he's kind of earned his right to somewhat?
No, I think, in all honesty, if Danny Garcia were with a different outfit, he would not be getting that. He wouldn't. He would not be getting that. It's causality. Okay. You got a fighter that can make $1 million fighting Adrian Granados. You think Felix Diaz got $1 million for fighting Adrian Granados?
Hell no.
Nah. You think Sam Eggington? Do you hold on? Let me finish.
You naming guys that's not even.
Phil, hold up, man. Let Ring finish. Go ahead, Ring. Finish up, man.
Felix Diaz was an undefeated Olympic gold medalist at the time he fought Adrian Granados.
Sam Eggington.
Hold on. Sam Eggington, he fought Paulie Malignaggi. You think he got $1 million fighting for fucking? He beat the shit out of Paulie Malignaggi. I don't think he got $1 million for doing
overrated.
I've
never been impressed with Paul. Adrian Broner beat him too.
I'm gonna put it to you like this: if I could get an M fighting fucking Brandon Rios, fighting fucking Adrian Granados, who's a tough kid, I always give him credit. I gave him credit. I always give him credit. But if you could get an M fighting those guys for no belt, it hampers your ambition. Because I'm gonna get an M fighting this motherfucker. When I'm gonna risk some shit with these motherfuckers when I can get an M fighting him.
Well, to be fair, Brandon.
Let me jump.
Okay, Phil.
Why
I
fight
really
him? Why
want
fight
this.
him
I really
when
want
you
this.
can fight a Salka? Y'all forgot the angel said that shit? Y'all forgot the angel said that shit? Why fight
Yep.
him when you can fight a Salka?
Yeah, I remember that one. I got mad at that
Hold on.
interview. I went off. But go ahead.
Hold on. Let me jump in on this right here. Okay.
All right.
Check this out, Ring. I'm gonna put it to you like this right here. Okay. This is the problem that we have. This is something that we ridicule boxers for, but at the same time, we can't have our cake and eat it too. Okay? Just because you getting the M don't mean you're not taking good fights. The fight of Danny Garcia and Granados was a good fight on paper. I watched that fight. That fight got built up very, very well. It was a good fight on paper. Did he destroy him? Yes, of course he did. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, people, and this is the misconception, just because you ain't got a belt, don't mean you can't make good fights. Okay? Danny Garcia, okay, has been a world champion. He is a good fighter. Okay? I do think he's a cut below the elite, but I think he is a cut above the people that's the second tier kind of fighter or whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the deal that I'm saying right here. You're talking about it hampers your hunger. Let me tell you something, man. Nobody needs to come and talk to me about Daniel Jacobs. You talking about somebody that's hungry? That dude is not hungry. He had an opportunity to beat Canelo, and what he did, he laid down on his ass. Okay?
Nah, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. That's not fair.
No.
That's not fair.
I wanted this.
Let him finish.
I know what happened. I know what happened to
and I'm gonna
Daniel
give it to you
Jacobs
straight.
in that fight. I know
Hold up,
what
come on.
happened to Daniel Jacobs in that fight.
Hold up. Let me tell you something.
No, hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this.
God, let me go, Ring.
Go on, Ray.
Hold on. Let me say this.
Okay, bro.
When
Go
you
ahead.
build it up, when you build it up in your mind, how you think it's gonna be. When you build it up like Daniel built it up, because Daniel wanted Canelo for a long time. When you build it up in your mind, and it's right in front of you, and you see that it's different, like, damn, this is not how I thought. He's faster than I thought. He hit harder than I thought. He's harder to find in here than I thought. That shit changed your whole demeanor. And that's what happened to Daniel Jacobs. It's not that, he didn't want to pull the trigger. He didn't know how to pull a fucking trigger. Canelo is better than he thought.
Nah, look, this is what I'm telling you right here. Period, man. Let me tell you something. And you're talking about hungry fighters and all this other kind of shit. Daniel Jacobs is probably the worst example you can give. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead, Phil. Finish up. Go ahead, baby.
I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, just like I said, he had a chance to beat Canelo. Okay, it was a lot of swing rounds when he didn't pursue the opportunities of somebody that you would consider that's a nice, young, hungry lion that's willing to do whatever it takes to get the W. He did it against Canelo. He did it against Triple G. All he had to do was win the fucking 12th round, and he would have beat Triple G. Guess what he did? He laid on his ass just like he laid on his ass against fucking Canelo, and then he got two cupcake fights in between.
Man, that's not fair.
Talk about
That's
the
not
people want to
fair.
talk. Hold on.
You talking about them like they ain't shit. You talking about them like they ain't shit. Like, all you had to do was beat Canelo. That's all you had to do.
It's on me.
As if
It's on
Canelo
me.
was easy.
It's on me.
Hey, Ray, let Phil finish. Go ahead, Phil. Finish up. Finish up.
It's on me. Then he got two cupcake fights in between. He get 1.2, 1.5 million dollars for these fights, and then he got enough nerve to go have a fucking interview in the hallway with Charlo. I'm getting M. You ain't got no belt. You talking to me like you tears of blood. You ain't even got no belt. The belt you did get was a fucking was a vacant belt. And you fought somebody who was boo-boo. Man, get your ass out of here, man. That's the worst example you can give. Man, give me somebody else, please. You
know what I'm gonna say? You know what I'm gonna say to that?
Go ahead, respond to that, bro. Respond to that.
You giving Danny Garcia credit for fights that he lost, but you depriving Daniel Jacobs of that same credit because you talking about Triple G like he was supposed to just wipe his ass with him. You talking about Canelo like he was just supposed to wipe his ass with him. That's how you talking about. Like, all you had to do. Who the fuck just beats Canelo? Who just beats him? That's all Daniel Jacobs had to
He ended Triple G's KO streak as well, and that was a close fight.
No, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. This is, and again, you said I'm giving him credit. You know why? Because he's put in the work. He is a fucking world champion. He has fought against great opposition, and he has prevailed. Anybody that Daniel Jacobs has fought, hold on, time out, hold on. Anybody that Daniel Jacobs has fought and he has been the underdog, guess what? He has proven so that it's right. Guess what, homeboy? Look what they say on 5 Heartbeats. Yeah, Flash, you want to be me, but you just ain't got it. That's what he is. He ain't got it, man. He ain't got it.
And this
He's not special,
what
man.
I'm gonna say to that. This is what I'm gonna say to that. You're defending. This is what you're doing. You're defending Danny Garcia's right to have lighter touches. No, hold on. I'll let you
No,
go.
I'm letting you
You're
go.
defending Danny's right. I'm saying, I'm not attacking his right to do what he want to do. He could do what he want to do. What I'm saying is a simple case of causality. All right. If I know that I could get an M fighting this motherfucker, I'm not going to be in a hurry to fight these other motherfuckers. Why? I don't have to. I'm getting good money doing what I'm doing. There's no need. There's no urgency. Like, what the fuck? I need to be in a hurry to fight these motherfuckers when I'm gonna get good money fighting these motherfuckers.
This is a good debate, man. But go ahead, Phil. Finish up, man. Go ahead, just respond to that.
No, Danny Garcia definitely wants to rematch with Keith Thurman. Okay. Danny Garcia definitely wants to rematch with John Porter. Okay. Now, when you talk about Spence and Crawford, I mean, the truth of the matter is you ask questions about them, but that same question could be asked to damn near everybody in the division. Just to be completely honest with you. Okay. So when you say, well, he's gonna fight Crawford, is he gonna fight? Well, nobody's fighting those guys. So that's obsolete at this point. Okay. But guess what though? He does want the rematch with those two guys. Okay, now this is the deal right here. Now, if you gonna talk about a fighter that's really just robbing the public, talk about fucking Adrian Broner. That's what you need to be talking about. Okay?
Pull up Danny Garcia's 147 resume.
You want to talk about somebody that's robbing the public? Adrian Broner is the biggest crook in boxing. Okay? Because guess what?
Look. I think we both agree on Adrian Broner. I think we both agree on. I don't look at Adrian Broner even as a fighter these days. I don't look at him. I look at him as more of a promoter, an entertainer, but not really a fighter. All he's gonna do is he's gonna get punched in the mouth. He's gonna shake his head like it didn't hurt, but we know it did. That's why you're not throwing no punches, because it hurt.
Can I see something?
So, but yeah, again, so
back to Danny Garcia. The uniqueness of Danny Garcia's situation is okay. Errol Spence is hot right now, right? Now, I'm going to cross-compare two situations, even though one of the guys is not as accomplished as the other. We know Teofimo wants to beat the holy shit out of Lomachenko. He want that man. Why? Because he hot right now. Y'all keep talking about this motherfucker like he hot shit. I want to beat the shit out of him in front of y'all because y'all keep talking about him like he's some shit. He ain't shit to me. Now, look over at how Errol Spence is right now. Errol Spence is the guy on the PBC side of the street. He's the guy. He's the hot motherfucker right now. You would think that because Danny's on the same side of the street as him, that fight would warrant more urgency from him. But we don't see that. Do you think if Danny came to Errol and said, man, I want to fucking fight you, man. Let's fight. You think Errol would have said no?
But see, this is the deal right here. So let me put it to you like this. Anybody that's in the 147 weight class is on that side of the street. So the point you're trying to make can be made for any one of those fighters. The only one that's not over there is fucking Terrence Crawford.
Okay? Now let's talk about Crawford.
Hold
on. Let's talk. Let's hold these fighters to their word. Before Crawford entered the 147-pound division, him and Danny had they had a couple of Twitter wars, a couple of them, not just one. Crawford gets there. They made Danny Garcia an offer to fight for a world title with a pay-per-view upside and guaranteed about $3 million, something like that. Danny ain't jump all over that. Why? I can get him fighting Adrian Granados. The fuck I needed Terrence Crawford for?
But hold on, man. Hold on. Let me tell you something, man. Right now, I'm going through Danny Garcia's resume. Dude, this dude is ridiculous, man. This dude's resume is hard as fucking.
We're not debating his resume.
Compare his resume to welterweight, man.
Dude, he's getting $1 million. The whole reason why he's getting $1 million is because of his resume.
Okay, but if you can make $1 million fighting Adrian Granados,
his history shows that he is not afraid to take the big fights. That's what his history proves.
Once again, you can't tell me.
Hold on, but you can't tell me because he's fighting
You're
You can't
defending
tell me
his.
because he's not fighting Earl Spence or Crawford that he's not hungry no more. His
Now,
resume does not prove that.
Errol Spence said something interesting. Errol Spence said that had Mikey Garcia not stepped up, he didn't know who he was going to fight. That's what he said. Danny Garcia's right there on that same side of the street. He's right there.
So,
If Danny had any intention of fighting Errol, something would have materialized. Now, I'm not saying he's afraid of Errol. I'm saying he's comfortable. He has no urgency, no ambition. Like, man, I don't got to fucking fight Errol. I can turn around and fight this motherfucker and get $1 million. So that's what I'm going to do.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question, Ring. Let me ask you a question. All right? This is my question I raised to you. Okay? So you asking why Danny Garcia isn't fighting Earl Spence or Crawford. I can ask you the same question. Well, why the fuck Crawford and Earl Spence is not fighting one another?
That's simple. They got politics between them. That's
so
what's going
you
on.
think
Everybody
just because
know,
people in the same table?
why they not fighting.
Hold on. I'm trying to prove a point. And I figured you would say that. You say it's politics, right? So you think it's not politics within the same stable? Because I can guarantee you that it is. Because it's no different than Anthony Joshua and fucking Dillian White. It's politics.
They've already fought.
Organization.
Wait, hold on. Finish the debate.
Yeah.
Well, I meant let them finish the debate. But go ahead, Phil. Finish up and then get back in.
It's still politics within the same stable. It just is, man. It is. These questions that you're raising, you breaking it down to 2 fighters and 2 fighters only. That's not fair to the other fucking 100 fighters out there, dude. You can't do that. You can't tell me we got to go based off of history. Based off of history, okay, the only top guy that Danny Garcia hasn't fought in the division is fucking it's Earl Spence and Crawford. So how are you going to tell me he's not hungry? That just doesn't make any sense. And Crawford is new to me. So really, if we go based off of history, Danny Garcia has always been hungry. Now, let me say this right here. Don't get it wrong, okay? Don't get it wrong. Do I think he's as hungry as he was after he took his 2 losses? No, of course not. Okay? Of course not. But in comparison, you're talking about Daniel Jacobs, man, don't even come close, homie. It don't even come close.
As I stated, if they're gonna give you $1 million to fight Adrian Granados, and there's another fighter somewhere else that has to get that $1 million by fighting the killer, guess what? That guy's hungrier than you are. He has to work.
Phil, let Ring finish. Go ahead, Ring. Finish up, brother.
You're bringing up Danny Garcia's track record for things that he's done already. We all know what he did already, but we're talking about how hungry he is today, not how hungry he was yesterday. His resume shows he was hungry yesterday. Does that speak for today? It might not. You can't just go off of shit that he did. We're talking about what he's doing or what he's not doing. And what's not going on is you don't see him clamoring for a fucking Errol Spence fight, even though Errol Spence is the hot one. This is boxing. We all know how it goes. Mikey Garcia chose to fight Errol Spence because
someone got feedback.
He's the hot one. He's the one to fight. That's the big one. All right, I want him. Why Danny's sitting right there? We don't see that urgency. You shared words with Terrence Crawford. They actually made you an offer to fight. You could have been in a title fight, but you rather fight Adrian Granados. You rather fight Mikey Garcia. Why is that? Basic arithmetic. I get good money fighting these motherfuckers. I don't have to fight him to get good money. And that shows a lack of ambition.
Okay, so let me ask you something, right? Because this is what it comes down to. We're talking about Daniel Jacobs. All right. So his fight before the Triple G fight. I go from the fight before the Triple G fight. So Sergio Mora, okay. Nah, I don't think so. He's not a good fighter. I'm sorry. Triple G, he lost. Luis Aries, come on, man. Selecki, come on, man. Darren Chaco, come on, man. These are not. And then guess what? Nobody's going to turn the fight down Canelo, because that's going to be your highest payday, period. You don't got to be that hungry. You don't got to be that hungry. You don't got to be that hungry to take a fight with Canelo. You don't. You don't.
Shot yourself in the foot. But 30 minutes ago, you were sitting here praising Jamal Charlo for the people that he fought. Centennial lost.
I said Jamel.
Let's stick to the facts. Centennial, the guy that Charlo fought, he lost to Suliecki. That's a fact. Daniel Jacobs was fighting better people than Charlo, but you was just giving Charlo credit for the people
Nah,
that he.
talking about. See, you so talking about. Hold on, no. You got it all wrong, brother. I said Jamel Charlo, not Jamal, not Jamal. I said Jamel Charlo. Jamel Charlo and Jared Hurd damn near have almost an identical resume for the last 2 or 3 years. Go look it up.
Yeah, well,
Go look it up. So I didn't shoot myself in the foot. Jamel, the one that fights at 154, not the one that fights at 160.
Dan, you got feedback, man.
Is that me? Okay, my bad.
All right, back to the point.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
All I'm saying, Danny Garcia has the right to choose whatever. But is he as ambitious as he was? No, he's not. He's not at a point where he would just take a Lucas Matisse kind of opponent. We see that already. Why? You're getting millions of dollars to fight the likes of a Brandon Rios, to fight the likes of a fucking Adrian Granados, and to fight the likes of a Mikey Garcia or for loss. But your fight is still going to be a pay-per-view. You're still going to get millions of dollars. So that kind of shit tempers your ambition. You're not going to be as hungry when you get the payday anyway. That's just common sense.
So
is
this is my question for you. This is my question for you, Ring. My question is this right here. I get what you're saying, and I don't completely disagree with you. But this is my question for you. How can you say that about Danny Garcia and the same rules don't apply for Daniel Jacobs? That does not make any sense to me. All I'm saying is, hey, if you're going to say this about Danny Garcia, you definitely need to be saying this about lay on your ass Daniel Jacobs, period.
I don't agree with the reason I don't agree with that is you have a difference of opinion about Sergey Didivinchenko and Suliecki. That's why you look at the touches. I knew he was going to struggle in them fights. I said he was. The videos is up there on YouTube. I know he was. Those ain't bad fighters. Sergey Didivinchenko's not a bad fighter.
Daniel Jacobs is not a great fighter, though. That's what you confused. He's not that good.
I never said he was a great fighter. I'm saying he's a good fighter, but you can't write off the quality of his competition. You can't write him off. Now, with
Derenchenko is not. Look, he don't need to be getting $1 million for Derenchenko. Now, whether it's a good fight or not, it's just not $1 million fight in comparison. To me, a Derenchenko fight against Daniel Jacobs is no different than Adrian Granados and Danny Garcia fight. It's because we both agree that Daniel Jacobs is a good fighter. Danny Garcia is a good fighter. Their opposition, yeah, it's pretty good. Should they win? Yes, of course they should. To me, that's the same shit. It's a cancellation to me.
If you look at the paydays that Daniel Jacobs received for those fights, you're not looking at the happenstance. He happened to be fortunate enough to land on Matchroom USA as they were desperate to get U.S. fighters. So that's what makes him the recipient of that payday. It's not even a question of hunger. It's a happenstance. He literally got lucky. He got lucky. You was in the right place at the right time. You got a decent name. You fought Golovkin on a pay-per-view. Some people think you won. Let's sign this guy. Let's give him some paydays. That's a happenstance. But Danny Garcia actually has a name that Daniel Jacobs don't. Danny Garcia's name is bigger than Daniel Jacobs' name. So if Danny Garcia wants a certain fight, he can get it. If Danny wants Spence, he could get him. If Danny wants Crawford, he could get him. There's lots of other fighters that want those guys that can't get him, but he can. Except he doesn't want those fights that bad. Why? He gets good money without those guys. So there's no urgency. I don't have to fight you to be in a multi-million-dollar fight. Case in point, he's about to fight Mikey Garcia in what? A multi-million-dollar fight. That's nowhere near as risky a fight as a Spence fight or a Crawford fight. But you know what?
So that's not a fight that the public would like to see, though. That's my.
I don't know that. Where I might not care for it, the Mexican fans might show up because it's a Puerto Rico versus Mexico thing. So they might like it. I know I'm not gonna buy it.
So let me ask you a question. My next question is for you, this right here, because I'm a giant Mikey Garcia fan. I just don't think he need to be fighting at 147. I'll put it to you like this right here. Mikey Garcia is a fucking great fighter. He's a 4-division champion. Like, don't underplay his accomplishment. So, and then you talking about
people that had him ranked ahead of Vasyl Lomachenko on the pound for pound. Ahmed could tell you that. I had him ranked way ahead of Vasyl Lomachenko.
What's the question?
So what I'm trying to tell you is this right here. If he does fight Mikey Garcia, that's a fight that, guess what? I will tune into it because I'm a big Mikey Garcia fan. Not so much as I'm not a giant Danny Garcia fan. I think I think he's a good fighter, but again, he's just a cut below the elites. So,
Yo,
but
can we agree? Can we agree that Danny Jacobs has been more impressive than Danny Garcia when Danny Garcia? One sec. When he's moved up to welterweight, because one guy has fought four fighters undefeated back to back, beaten 3. The other guys fought 3 shot fighters.
It doesn't mean shit though.
But the guys Danny Garcia fought was shot way past it. Rios, Paulie Malignaggi.
Go ahead, and go ahead, Phil, finish up. What you say?
No, I'm just saying, undefeated doesn't mean shit. Charles Martin was undefeated when he, okay? He's a terrible fighter. He is horrible. He is one of the worst heavyweights I've ever seen in my life. It's disgusting to watch him. Undefeated doesn't mean anything, man. I'm sorry. I'm just
Wanderers, 3 guys.
Guess what? He fought one guy. Hold up. He fought one guy that was 18-0. The other guy, Selecki was Selecki has some experience underneath. But Darren Chico had only had 11 fights, 10 fights? Come on, man. You're tripping, man. You're tripping, bro. Undefeated don't mean shit.
He fought Luis Arias. He fought Suliecki. He fought Derevyanchenko. You writing Derevyanchenko off? Don't know why. Point is, Danny beat 3 undefeated fights, but that's not necessarily the focal point. We're assessing the hunger of the fighter, and I reiterate,
he got $1 million each one of them fights.
If you can make good money fighting not so risky fights, those risky fights, they're not even necessary. Why? I make good money not taking a risk. How much of a risk is Mikey Garcia having looked how he looked? We don't know what he's going to go on to do. We can't tell the future, but we do got the past. You just look against Errol Spence, your first fight at 147, right? So you looking like fish food to a lot of people up here. That's what you look like, fish food. Like, oh yeah, get me Mikey. I'll fight him. He don't throw no goddamn punches. He just going to be in that high guard all night. But Danny, that's not a risk. But Danny don't need to take risks. Why? He get multi-million-dollar paydays not taking risks. So his ambition is going to be hampered by that. Imagine if he didn't get the multi-million-dollar payday and the only way he could get it was by taking a risk. It's a different story, but he's not at that place.
That's safe.
Thanks for your question. Hey, Phil, hold on. Yeah, let me ask you a question, Ring. Just to chime in on that. After Jacobs had fought Canelo, and I thought he tried his best in a way. Some people may not agree with me on this one, but do you think Jacobs is now in a position to go now, no longer take riskier fights now that he's in a higher position to get what he wants now in certain fights?
I think Daniel Jacobs is not in the same position as Danny because he's going to have to take risks. Otherwise, he's just going to fade into the background. He's going to have to go to. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Jacobs fights Callum Smith somewhere down the line. You got to take risks. You got to fight this. In order for you to get the things that you want, you don't have
to my background noise.
Somebody's using the restroom, but somebody mute. But go ahead.
if Danny wants a certain fight, if Danny wants, Pacquiao is receptive. If Danny wants Spence is receptive. If Danny wants any one of these top guys, they're receptive. He can get it. He can make it happen. They'll be receptive to a fight with him. But that's what makes it unique. You got those fights in front of you, and you fuck around can have them. But guess what? You don't need him to get $1 million payday. Now, Daniel Jacobs, it's a different story. He might. You just lost to Canelo on the biggest stage you've ever been on. And you lost to Golovkin.
Fought Sean Porter, though. He just fought Sean Porter.
Yeah, he fought Sean Porter. He's fought Keith Thurman. We got to give Danny Garcia some bit of credit, but
no, he just fought Sean Porter. Fought Sean Porter.
Yeah, he did. But
this was last year. He fought Sean Porter.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me just say this, man. This is a good debate between you guys. I really like it. But let me get these guys in their thoughts on this one real quickly. EJ had much to say. EJ, what's up, man? EJ, unmute yourself. EJ? I guess he probably sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but
what's good, Dan?
Hey, what's up, Texan? What's happening, brother?
Yeah, and what's good, Hamed, IQ, and the whole plan? Yes.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on this one, man? This is a good debate topic. Is a fighter's desire lost to fight the best competition after getting $1 million payday? especially if they're fighting.
Dan, you gotta mute. Your thing is making too much. It's too much
Yeah,
feedback.
like I could barely hear the question.
No, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, is there a lot of feedback?
A lot of feedback.
Hold on. What about now?
That's better.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I was saying that to the debate question is that is a fighter is a what's that feedback going on? What's going on there?
That's not me.
That's coming from you.
It's coming from me. Hold on.
Let me make sure it's not me. Let me put my shit on mute. Hold on.
Yeah, put it on mute, bro. Yeah, because I'm hearing some stuff. Okay, that's better. That's probably Phil. All right, there we go. Nah, that's probably me. Hold on.
I switched to my mic, so I was, I thought it might have been me, but I guess not.
Okay, that's probably you. Yeah, now I'm not hearing it no more. Okay, good. All right, so yeah, so the debate question is, the topic is that is a fighter's desire to fight the best competition gone after they receive, like, say, for example, they fought one good guy, then all of a sudden they received $1 million
Oh no,
pay.
no. It should always be the fighter's desire to fight anybody, regardless of the payday. It's been like a trope for many years, like in terms of centuries, decades to be honest, but it should always be there, regardless of the payday and stuff. I mean, it is what it is.
Right. Well, do you think that there's fighters like, for example, Danny Garcia? Do you think he's lost his hunger to fight the best after the fact that he is getting $1 million paydays fighting guys like Adrian Granados and over the hill Brandon Rios and those type of guys? Do you
It's
think
very
that's
possible, but when you think about it, like when he took those comeback fights with Brandon Rios and stuff, he fought Sean Porter after, or like before Samuel Vargas, he took Keith Thurman after. And also, like if he takes like a world champion, like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, then we'll see what happens, But if he doesn't, then I really do have to question his hunger, and
well,
what
let me
he's
ask you
in
this.
for.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. He went from his last fight was against Adrian Granados. Now he's fighting Mikey Garcia.
Oh
How
yeah,
does that
yeah. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about it. Like I don't blame Mikey. Well, I mean, I actually do because I think he should go to a lower weight class, instead of just like fucking around at 147 once again. But Danny Garcia shouldn't be looking at like a Mikey Garcia because he's still like one of the top elite level fighters at welterweight. I think he really should try to go down the route of seeing Terrence Crawford because they have like an amateur rivalry that's been like brewing over years. That's my take on it, at least.
Oh, that's a good point. Good point. But we all know that he doesn't really have the desire to fight Terrence Crawford right now. He ain't interested in that fight.
I think it's more Angel and possibly Al Heyman, but it is what it is.
All right. Very good stuff.
Can I add to that? Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
I would say that when the offer was made to Danny to fight Terrence Crawford, right? The offer was made at a time when it looks like they were negotiating the Adrian Granados fight. So if he chose to fight Granados, I would have said it's negligible. He was already in advance.
I completely forgot about that one, man. Like, thanks for reminding me.
I would have said that, but now that I see that he's fighting Mikey, that's it. Like, all right, well, they offered you a multi-million-dollar payday to fight for a world title against your amateur rival. You guys have had words with each other in the professional rank, but this is what you're choosing to do, or what's being chosen for you. You're fighting Mikey Garcia off a loss. I look at both of those opponents. I say one is obviously more risky than the other, but one comes with more rewards. And yet you chose the other one because of comparable rewards without the risks. Mikey's not a risk to Danny the way that Terrence Crawford is a risk to Danny.
Oh yeah, definitely, man, definitely.
But this my question for you right here too, as well, though. Can't the same thing be said about Spence and Crawford not fighting?
Is that to IQ or me?
I'm telling you guys, any of you guys can answer it. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
That's to you, Texas. The same thing can be said about the Crawford and Spence fight not being made as well. Because guess what? That same fight is out there for all of those guys. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying right here. You use an example of Danny Garcia, right? But guess what, though? Nobody in the division is fighting Crawford or Spence. It's just what it is.
Now, I'm a answer.
So you can't single out just him.
Question.
Well, I think there's some people that want to fight Errol, like your Dennis Ugas, for example, and Mikey Garcia just recently, but Terrence Crawford is because there's two interpretations that I've been hearing recently, for the past year. Either the other side of the street, quote unquote, that I've been hearing a lot more, and also there was another one. Yeah, that one completely left my head. Maybe you guys can add on to it. You know,
It have anything with letting the fight simmer, shit like that, or what?
I'm gonna say
mm,
I
it's
want
about like them being complacent about fighting Terrence Crawford. You know, he was like,
I want to
yeah,
answer.
go ahead, IQ, go ahead.
You said, can't the same thing be said about Errol Spence? Yes, it can. Of course it can. I've been saying it for fucking several videos. Errol Spence has chosen to fight. Errol Spence himself, before the Mikey Garcia fight got signed, he said, I need a fight on Twitter. He didn't have no opponents lined up. After the Mikey Garcia fight got signed, he said, if Mikey hadn't stepped up, I didn't know who I was going to fight. Terrence Crawford then called you out already. Everything that happened already. You willfully chose to fight Mikey Garcia instead of looking into making that fight. So yeah, the exact same thing can be about Errol Spence that I'm saying about Denny. Because
that's why I'm at with it. Gotta be fair. Got you. On it. That's 100.
I don't like. I'm not cutting Spence no slack for this shit because I'm saying the same thing. You want to fight Sean, right? You want to fight Sean. You want to fight Keith because those opponents, even though they're great fight, and I think those are great fights. Those are great fights. But at the end of the day, those fights don't pose the risk to you that this one does. There's a reason you're prioritizing. Let me have them this way. I'm gonna fight them this way instead of that way. Because if I fight Crawford next, I might fuck around and lose. And there goes those fights. There goes all my leverage. I don't want to risk it yet. I'm getting good money. Good money right now. I got good money to fight Mikey. I could get good money to fight Porter without Crawford.
But Ring, does that make him less hungry? I think it does not make him less hungry.
Yes, it does. I think yes. And Errol Spence is not who, at least not in my opinion, he's not who he was when he was calling out Keith. He's entering that PBC phase where they're coddling you and they're building you up and they're treating you nice and you're losing your competitive edge because you're getting good money to be protected, for lack of a better word. And that's not said to downplay the Porter fight. I think that's a great fight. But one fight is riskier than the other. And there's a reason they want you to have them in a certain order. That's hampering your hunt. That's taking away your, you know what, man, fuck him. He thinks he's better than me. Let's fight. That's not like when Larry Holmes' leg dropped Trevor Berbick off a car. He was hungry.
Yo, can I say something? I was gonna say.
But I'm saying, Kell Brook wasn't a good fight.
It was a decent
Want to
fight.
add something, Hamed?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Add
Just
something.
want to say, I don't think it's fair to compare Danny Jacobs with Danny Garcia because Danny Jacobs, when he was with Showtime and PBC, he managed to go over to HBO and fight Golovkin. Now, Danny Garcia has had the chance to do that, to, jump ship wherever, fight another fight on a different platform.
It was Manny Pacquiao too. He directed that fight. Yeah, he rejected that.
Yeah, and Crawford as well. So he hasn't done this. He hasn't shown the same desire. If we're going to talk about hunger and desire, then that's a couple of facts there. And if you want to talk about resume,
hold up. You
come
mean,
on, bro. You can't keep cutting people off.
I'm
man.
just asking the question, bro. It's the question. Just chill, huh, man. Just fucking relax, homie. Don't get all uptight. It's a question.
No, you've been talking a lot.
Hold on, guys. Go ahead. Go. Phil, ask your question.
No, I'm just trying to give him I need some context. So you saying just because a fighter fights on a different network that makes him hungry?
I'm saying he's more hungry than the other guy. That's what I'm trying to say. A guy who's not willing to, get out of his chamber, who's only willing to
comfort zone, basically.
And he's being paid, offered career high paydays. So, I think the desire is not as there as some people claim in his camp. Because Danny Jacobs did something which I think not many other PBC fighters did at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, after he signed with Hearn and then was on HBO, but when he fought Golovkin, I don't think he had a contract with HBO. And another thing is, though, when you look at his resume, yeah, he had a good resume at 140, but at welterweight, since not even the Thurman fight, just before that, the guy's beaten up guys are shot away past. Look, Rios, Malnaghi, Guerrero, maybe that was a decent win. And then Granada, okay, that's a decent win. I come back after a loss, but I don't think you could say his resume is good. At welterweight, it's been trash. Look, his two biggest fights he lost, and he hasn't really beaten anyone who was, I think, even worthwhile. The guys he's beaten were, on the slide. Now, I'm not saying Danny Jacobs' resume is great at middleweight, because you could argue the two biggest fights he lost, but one guy who's beating guys who are unbeaten, unbeaten, you could say don't mean shit, but he managed to win a title and defend. I don't know, actually, he didn't defend it, but he managed to win a title and managed to. I thought he put on a good performance with Golovkin, but I just don't think Danny Garcia is the same guy at 140 as welterweight.
Let me just say that. Let me just add something. There's something this is one part of the equation that's always been missed here about Danny Garcia. After he gave a great performance against Lucas Matisse, and a lot of people counted him out in that fight too. He won that fight. All props to him. He was at an all-time high after that. And then when after that fight, he fought Mauricio Herrera. And a lot of people arguably said that he lost that fight. And I thought he lost it too. After that fight, I thought Danny Garcia was never the same fighter after that, from a mental standpoint.
Arguably to Peterson as well.
Wait. Which one? Which fight was it? The Lucas Matisse?
No, after he beat Lucas Matisse, he fought Mauricio Herrera. Herrera arguably beat him in that fight, busted his nose with that jab.
Yeah, I get you.
I think Danny was never the same fighter after that, because after that fight, he
felt very vulnerable.
Yeah, he felt very vulnerable.
They made a mistake. They should have went for Mayweather. Same with Khan. I think when Khan beat
Yeah, I'm
Judah,
telling you, man, that jab is really one of his.
What you got, Dan? Sound like he was making a good point.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it was. I'm just saying, after that fight, his team knew he lost that fight. Danny knew he lost that fight. So after that, they've been very careful with his opponent selection. They were slowly moving him up.
I.e.
after that
Rod
fight.
Salka.
Yeah.
You just illustrated the point that I'm making, that look, it's not about whether or not he has the right to choose. That's beyond our power. All I'm saying is that he's not hungry. He's going to have the big fights whenever they roll around, but he doesn't want them that bad. And you can see that by how he's been moving. You can
that's
see.
what I was trying to see. Yeah.
And you say Jacob does.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ahmed illustrated that point better than I did. Jacobs had to jump ship to get a big fight, but he did it.
Yeah, he did it. You got to give Jacobs credit for it. Let me just say this, though. I think Jacobs, this is my opinion, though. I thought he did try somewhat his best against Canelo, but I didn't really see him try as hard as he did against Golovkin and against Canelo. I'm just keeping it real.
Because Jacobs appreciated his work too much to the point where it made him very complacent later on.
That's probably true.
I think he would have got knocked out. Styles make fights. Canelo had the speed. Golovkin was slow.
That is true. You got a point, though. That's
Look. I think honestly, it was some rounds when you let me put it to you like this. In that Canelo fight, when Daniel Jacobs let his hands go and he threw his hands and he let me tell you something. He had times when he was walking Canelo down in that fight. If you can do that, then you do that.
Yeah, I do kind of remember that in the last quarter of the fight.
Don't give away rounds against one of the best fighters in the world when you actually can win this fight.
Yeah, but
to me, that shows a desire not to win. Everybody's gonna be hungry when you're gonna have your career highest payday. Period.
Are we gonna write off that Canelo Alvarez is a counterpuncher, and counterpunchers tend to make guys look gun shy? They scared.
And Jacobs clubs his shots a lot.
Adam. Canelo Alvarez is one of the best counterpunchers in the sport of boxing, and I'm not even a fan of him, but I have to acknowledge that. And when you're fighting a counterpuncher, you end up looking like Joseph Parker against Andy Ruiz. Joseph Parker was scared to pull the trigger. Daniel Jacobs ended up scared to pull the trigger. Why? It's a counterpuncher. Every time I let my hands go, if I don't hit this guy, he's going to hit me. So I got to be careful. That's why I don't even compare how Danny looked with Canelo to how he looked with Golovkin. It's two different
fights.
Okay, so this is what you're telling me. This is what you're saying right here. Okay, so if I'm a fighter, I go in the fight scared to get hit, so I don't take risks.
Good point.
That's the opposite of hunger, homeboy. That's complacency.
It's easy for me to sit here and say, yeah, man,
that's complacency.
You got to take risks. Canelo Alvarez is one of the best counter punches in the sport of boxing.
You knew that before you started the fight, though.
Sound like he any old body, like you just got to
walk.
Yeah,
I think you guys are getting mixed up with hunger inside and outside the ring. I think inside you could question Danny definitely, but outside the ring, he's willing to fight the best guys. Now, don't get me wrong, Danny Garcia did manage to fight Thurman and Porter, but let's not get it wrong. That Thurman fight, he clearly lost. The Porter one was
Nah, he
competitive.
didn't clearly lose that fight.
I
Nah, that
don't know,
was
in
a
my
close
opinion.
fight, man. Like, I have to disagree.
I don't think that
I
was.
had
I
Thurman
thought the
by 2
Porter
rounds.
fight.
I had Thurman by 2 rounds. Period.
I
had Thurman.
rewatched it. I didn't
Yeah,
think he
same
went
here.
more than 3 or 4 rounds. But I thought the Porter fight was close. But what I'm trying to say, he didn't.
Fight. Porter edged it because he looked busier. That's how.
Yeah, that was a close fight. But he hasn't shown the desire to make the fights with Crawford, Pacquiao, or Spence. So outside the ring, the hunger definitely Danny Garcia.
Well, in his defense, Hamed, I will say this right here. I mean, when you coming off of, you know, two losses against top welterweights, honestly, and people may downplay this a little bit, but you really do have to build your confidence back up. I think it's more so a confidence thing versus a hunger thing. You have to. I think the fight against Granados is him building his confidence back.
And this is what I'm trying to communicate to you. You're treating what I'm saying as if I'm being prejudicial towards him or bashing him, when all I'm saying is I don't think he's as hungry as he used to be. There are big opportunities there that other people are ending up getting that he could have got before them. But because he's not as hungry as he used to be, he getting money fighting fucking Rios, fighting fucking Granados, and he about to fight Mikey Garcia. All right.
But those same opportunities are there for every other fighter, though. That's my.
Well, there's a lot of fighters that lose their hunger. He ain't the only one.
But I mean, that's the thing. Spence can make these fights as well. Like,
and I already said I don't think that Spence is hungry. I don't. I think Spence is happy being a big fish in a small pond. That's what I think. I've been saying that.
Who's hungry at the welterweight division? You tell me.
If you hungry and the fight of your time is right there, Terrence Crawford is the fight of his time. That is your adversary. Your legacy as a boxer is only as good as your adversary. He has a worthy opponent that some people feel is the best pound for pound fighter in the world. And who you want to fight? Mikey fucking Garcia. You not hungry.
But see, that's the thing. Spence don't got to fight right now. Spence don't got to fight, and Crawford don't got to fight. I don't understand.
Actually, he's about to fight Porter, so that's being almost confirmed.
Yeah, but that was on stall because of the contract negotiation. But,
right.
But no one asked for the Mikey Garcia fight, man. Come on, that was a waste of everyone's time.
Let's be real. Nobody wants to see that fight. I mean,
I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, let's just take it as it is. It's rumored, but let's just hope it doesn't come to fruition. Hope it does gets reconsidered, because I don't think it may. I'm being honest with you. I like Mikey, but he should not be fighting at 147. He needs to go to 140, at least there. At least there.
Get killed. Regis is there.
Yeah. Progress. Those guys are big old like welterweights. I don't think they can make 140 that long. I think they're going to move up.
Mikey has a chance against Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker, of course.
Yeah, he may have a chance against Ramirez, but of course that's a Bob Arum top rank fight. You know, Mikey don't want guys, so I don't see that happening.
Josh Taylor could give Mikey problems, even more to a lesser extent because he's getting better. I'm not going to say he wins, but he's getting better. There's a lot of guys at 140, and Mikey is not going to face a killer that don't have a big profile. You better off fighting a Danny. If you're going to fight a fight you're going to lose, well, you make more money with a Danny than you'll make with a motherfucking Maurice Hooker. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I think.
Well, you know what? To be fair, though, maybe Mikey would have better chance of landing his shots on on Danny than he did with Earl Spence, because Earl Spence actually moved around the ring. He was tricky.
I think he's gonna get knocked out.
And the thing about it is, when we talk about counterpunches, Danny Garcia is also a counterpuncher.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, you know, you got to really break this down into perspective, right? So you got two guys that are actually counterpunchers that are about to go into the ring with one another. I just don't think stylistically it's going to be an exciting or explosive fight. But
I think it's going to distance.
It dropped.
Exactly. I think it's going to go to distance, okay? And it's just going to be a game of strategy. So, but it is still a good fight.
Errol wasn't sitting on his punches the way Danny normally sits
That's
on his.
what I was going to say.
It happened.
Yeah,
Mikey's going to try to hit him with that up jab, and because Danny's economic, Mikey's going to get confident, and that no-look hook is going to find him. It's going to put him on his ass. I don't know if he's going to get knocked out, but I see him getting put on his ass. And the conversations after that are gonna be very interesting. And how the fuck did Danny Garcia drop Mikey where Errol couldn't? Errol landed 345 punches on Mikey, couldn't drop him. It's gonna be real interesting. Real
Danny will knock
You know,
him.
I don't. Go ahead, man.
I think Danny could got a more chance of knocking him out because he's gonna. Danny got some really bad feedback, but he's gonna sit on his shots and he's not gonna try and box. Spence was trying to prove a point that he's a superior boxer. Look, don't get me wrong, he tried knocking him out. I think the towel could have been waved in the 9th or 10th round, but Spence for about 5 or 6 rounds was outboxing him and was just using his skills. I don't think Danny Garcia is gonna go in there to do anything like that. He's gonna try and throw his hooks and chin check him really.
I mean, like,
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Danny dropped him or anything, but I just think that it's gonna go the full 12 for some reason. Like, I get that feeling that it's gonna be one of those crazy draws, you know?
You reckon Robert Garcia would let him go on?
I'm gonna give it to you straight, okay? Now let's be honest about this right here, okay? I just gave Danny Garcia praise because I think he's a fighter of deserving of praise because he's had a great career, okay? Even up until this point. But let's not act like before he dropped Brandon Rios, that wasn't a close fight. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I had Brandon Rios winning that fight against Danny Garcia.
I don't know about that, but I saw Brandon putting in some effort, but I don't know about like winning the fight. You know,
I don't think he was winning.
Was losing all the
fight. I had him winning the fight, but my point is this right here: Danny Garcia is not a fucking superior boxer or no shit like that. Okay, if a guy like Brandon Rios can have a close fight with you, then I think it's gonna go 12 rounds with Danny Garcia. I mean, with Mikey Garcia. I just do.
Let's talk about Danny's boxing acumen. He's only missing one thing, and that's mobility. Danny can box. Danny got a decent jab, good counter punches, good strong punches. The only thing that he's missing is he don't move around. Don't move around.
he doesn't. And plus, he's very stiff too, in my view. He's a stiff fighter. He's very stiff. So, yeah. But hey, guys. Hey, I really appreciate you guys for coming on, man. This has been a damn good debate. It's something we really need to discuss a lot, man. About the fighters' desires after getting these $1 million paydays. I mean, fights, you know, the dangers of letting fights marinate, big fights marinate. Very good discussion. I really appreciate you guys.
I think
coming
people
on.
are sick of talking about Wilder Joshua, man.
Exactly.
I don't want to talk about it anymore, man.
Yeah, I agree.
The video saying he mentioned it. I think after Wilder and Ortiz was official, you had to talk about it, but I got sick of it.
But you know, the whole point is that we have to talk about the dangers of letting fights marinate. But that's something because we just talked about the fact that look what happened at 154. It could happen at heavyweight potentially. Yeah. So, but yeah, as I was saying, guys, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate y'all for coming on. I mean, we had a full panel here. I know EJ came on for a minute, but he's sleeping. The Fight Doctor, Phil, as always, man. Hamed, as always. Ring IQ, you always got to come over, man. Real good debate. Really appreciate you having on, man.
No problem.
No problem.
All right, man. I appreciate talking to y'all boys, man. That shit was some good shit.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Cool. I really do, man. The Texas, as always, man. You got to come in more often too, man.
Oh yeah.
I want to see something. If any of you guys want to jump on the UGC, we go live. I think it's every morning, whatever.
That's
UGC. Anyone wants to come in, I'll put a link in the description box or in the comment section. But
all right, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good, Hamed. Hey, so thank you guys for coming on, man. I want to thank the comment section and the Rascal as always. Unbiased, Champ Ross. Who else is in there? Mr. Boxing Today came in for a moment. Shout out to Mr. Boxing Today. That's my big bro. Damn, missing all you guys up in here. Joe Host from the UK, Edge Note from the UK. I mean, all you guys came in. Great mixture of crowd, man. So I appreciate you guys for coming in. So I'm going to wrap this up. Other than that, we are out. Peace.